jumping into a little bit of recap. Hope everyone's week was well. The last few sessions have been action-packed. Feels almost like making up for the long, dry spell of battle that you guys had gone through. Maybe a little too much in the deep end right away, but that's the nature of things nowadays in this world. So, in the last session, you guys completed a little bit more of the battling with this. What you ended up finding out was a chained creature coming out of portals, moving back and trying to heal and stay alive and work around the hazards of the map that you were on. Ended up getting back to where you guys initially begun and realizing that unless you guys got really lucky with the waves and there was a long pause in between, getting back without taking damage, in which most of you guys were very low on health, with not much healing left to be spared. You guys took it on the chin and decided to turn back around and hopefully circumvent this creature quickly enough to not die. On the way back, though, things were a bit dire as all of the chickens, flock of chickens, were dispatched and one by one getting confused and taken over and sort of used against you. Nori decided to Hail Mary it and reach out to Trentimir. This brought a response, and Nori agreed to whatever terms that Trentimir was offering her in exchange for his help. Trentimir then took over her body, giving black, dark blue, and violet crystal skin over the majority of her body, and teleported or dimension doored Pauline Amric away to the very edge so they could climb up and get out of this basin. Moved back, got Kaporin and Bryn, while Racha used his deck of illusions to hopefully distract long enough for everyone to coalesce and get out. The creature seemed not to care about the illusion, almost as if it could see right through the illusions, and started to turn back on itself and go down into the portal. There was a brief conversation, and then this is where we deviate from where you guys last left off into where we will be starting this session. Pauline Amric got to the top of the basin looking down. Now that there hadn't been water for a while, visibility was completely clear, and Bryn and Kaporin were dimension doored next to Polly. Next, almost flying with even more inhuman speed than Racha is usually capable of, or Bryn on haste, Trentimir zoomed over to Racha just as the creature pushed it down into the portal, and took the opportunity to fly up to the rest of you all. As you guys are above, looking down below as this Trentinori and Racha in tow start zooming towards you, all of a sudden you guys all lose vision and see black before passing out. And that's where we return. Amric's the first one to wake up. He stirs slowly and kind of blinking like a bad headache. He finds himself sitting by an already made campfire. The dome is erected around you all, as normally your campsites are. And everyone else is sitting around with such a weird look on their face. Almost that look when you get lost deep in thought, and sometimes it takes someone like clapping in front of your face or smacking you a little bit for you to really come out of it. Amric's about to say something to the rest before he know. Okay, so I'm gonna need to use my phone because actually I can do it over here. Never mind. Da, 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 da. Oh, that's right. So, besides his friends and the campsite that he sees around him being the main focus of what he was looking for as he comes out of it, he also notices that you guys are no longer in the ice sheet. Or you are, but you aren't. A few thousand feet away, you can see the ice sheet. And as he looks around, he can see the ice sheet in a very large but still there circle around your guys' current location. But around you, it's green, it's verdant. There is plant life. Trees have needles, bushes, and even small animal game is currently skittering around. As he becomes more aware of his faculties, with the rest of the group off to his right, he looks to his left, and sitting there, currently stoking the fire, is Trentonori, who turns their head towards Amric and gives at least what he could understand a smile to him. He gets up the few feet and walks over. Glad you're with us. I have a request for you. Amric. Who am I talking to right now? You should remember me. We hung out for a day together. Well, you aren't the only being who's taken over Nori recently. Well, I'm the only one that's helped. Fair enough. What is your request? When Nori asked for my help, she knew it came at a cost. She did not know what cost she was agreeing to, for I fear she wouldn't have agreed if she had. But I knew the situation you all were in, and I wanted to help. So the cost is this. She needs to be rid of me, and I of her. I can sense her internal struggle of wanting to strengthen, but also help, and since Avita has come back to her life, I have gone further neglected, as she does not feel the need to uphold her end of the bargain for Avita's memory. So I ask that you facilitate my release and burden from her. I can remove myself gently from her and hand off to you. I ask that you release me either into the ocean or a free-flowing river, and let my peace know some silence a while before another comes along. Namric takes a moment. How do I do that? I will be back in necklace form, and you just let me go, whatever you come across first, ocean or river. Would that be all, or is there another condition? Just a free-flowing river, nothing stagnant, and make sure the bird doesn't come after me. That is something I can do. In the meantime, would we be bonded, or would I simply be carrying you? Just carrying. I am too drained to bind for a while. Then I believe we have a deal. Is there anything else I need to know? None of the rivers up here will work unless you get to the northern banks. But I deeply thank you. Noted. For what it's worth, I'm sorry it has come to this. It's fine. Maybe it will lower some of the heat on your group. Perhaps, if that's all, it may be time to wake them so we can get this underway. Some already are. And with this, the first person to come back to their faculties before their conversation is completely over is Racha. Racha, you come in on the tail of it, more hearing their voices than really knowing where the conversation's happening first. And then you see this last little bit of interaction. And then Bryn, you also come in at the tail end of this. When he's saying some of them already are, is when you start to regain function and the scene starts coming into you. You guys, as those are Racha and Bryn come back too. Trent and Nori reaches over onto Amric's shoulder, which gets his attention and turns him towards him, and he puts out a hand for him to shake. And as Amric shakes his hand, the stone-like skin falls away and coalesces into the hand as there's a brief bit of purple light, and then Nori, Racha, and Bryn, you see Nori sort of like step back, sort of kind of almost like she got a little bit of a push, and in Amric's hand is the diamond shaped necklace of Trentamir, which Amric immediately puts away. For your sake, Nori, you do not remember any of that conversation.
What did you just do?
I made a promise.
To do what?
He wants to be free and released somewhere.
Am I awake?
It's like tinnitus, like a really bad form of it. Not so much that it's painful to hear, it's just there's so much extra noise that everything like they're talking right now is very muffled. It's everything's starting to come back. You're starting to blink. You're seeing color, but no severe shapes yet.
What should I do about my... Do I take off my warlock level?
Yes.
Okay. And then what do I do about the XP? Because I am, like, 92 points away from level 10. What would be level 11, now level 10?
I'll make a note of it, and then I'll keep track of it on my end for something else. So don't change anything just yet. Oops.
I feel like Nori notices the power gone and just kind of nods her head, knowing that she had a few suspicions of what would happen, and this is the one that she thought the most would.
Okay, so you can make the changes now. Okay.
So just take off the level, don't mess with XP?
Yeah, don't mess with XP, just take off the warlock level.
Me and Polly haven't woken up yet, correct?
You guys are starting to. You're in the same stage as Nori is. A lot of excess noise, no solidity to shapes yet, just sort of light and colors. Basically, it's like getting concussed, and it's just a slow burn out of it. Over the next 5 minutes, you get everything back.
Where are we? I don't remember setting this up.
I made a deal, and because I didn't see a way out, and Drentimir took his leave. Nori kind of gestures, will like pull down her whatever scarf she's wearing and like show that all that's left are the scars that she has.
No scars. She's been.
From when it was a diamond and it was poking me.
No scars.
Oh, yay!
You left your present. I don't know.
Nor you are
Better off
you
without
are
it.
completely healed. No spell slots, but you are fully healed.
He just left?
Nori. Wouldn't Amric probably say something here?
Nope.
Did it just disappear, or
I
did
don't
it
know.
attach itself to somebody else?
He's not supposed to be able to attach to any of you.
Did we see Amric put the thing away?
Mm-hmm.
He's still here.
Well, then get rid of it.
I
It
think
doesn't
we
do
have
any of
to
us any
take him.
good.
Well, surely, thank you to wherever he is.
This is ridiculous. Why are we holding on to this thing? Get rid of it. If it's still here, get rid of it. It's not going to help anyone. It's not doing anybody any good.
He just helped us.
Yeah. And what did he want, Nori? He took over your body.
Because I let him. That was a choice.
It was a stupid choice.
I know it was stupid, but what else was I supposed to do? I had an option, so I took it.
We had a whole bunch of other options as well. We were doing
Polly,
just fine.
Lori,
Were we?
Yes, we were, as a matter of fact. Whatever that thing was couldn't touch us from where we were. We had an option to go around it, and you called it. You called that horrible thing into you and let it take you over. Who knows what it could have done to you? It could have killed you for all it cared. And I'm assuming it doesn't, because now it's gone. Thank goodness. I have warned you guys constantly of the dangers of this thing. And nobody seems to be able to listen.
You think I'm not aware of the dangers?
Apparently not. Because you keep asking it for more favors.
I knew this would be the last one.
Did you?
Listen. You all have homes, families, lives. I can't let you die. And Richal was exhausted. Kaparin was exhausted. I'm exhausted. One move, we fall. We don't have the spells to bring each other back up. We can't all carry each other. If one goes down, what are we gonna do? Who knows what else could come out of? Who knew what else could come out of that portal? I
Better
did what I
die
thought I
than-
could.
Better die than let that thing take over. Because it would have killed you anyway. And I will get up and walk out of the bubble.
it's been a rough day. As Nori said, we're all exhausted. I'll keep an eye on Polly, but if we should get some rest while we can, while it seems we're safe. Nori, I'm sorry for, in a way, your loss.
Don't
I
be
know
sorry.
that necklace had.
No. It's better like this. It's better for both of us.
Good fortune to both of you.
I'm just glad you're all alive.
Glad that we're here. Get some rest, guys. I'll take first watch.
Thank you.
Cha sort of pats Nori on the shoulder. Still very tired. You could see it in his head. And he's like, "You did good, kid." And then just sort of like shambles over to Amric and is like, "You made a deal."
You should know all about that.
What is it?
Just to help a friend.
Do what?
Go home.
Where's that?
Water.
Okay. And then he just collapses.
And Nori will put a blanket over poor Richaw.
Bryn's actually gonna go out and go be with Polly for a minute. As she walks out, can she look around to see if she can figure out where the hell they are? If there's any type of landmark or something like that.
Make a perception check. Looking around, the green landscape extends decently far out, probably a good quarter mile in all directions before it hits the ice. So, like, trying to discern that's a little bit difficult. It's very shocking to the system. So you're like sitting there and just like really hardly staring at like the larger trees and like a portion where the mountains are. You're like, fuck, they look so much different when they're not covered in ice. And so you're just like, where the fuck are we? And kind of getting around one of the larger thickets of bushes, you get to a point where the skyline sort of rings a familiar bell to you. You're like, oh, wait. And then you kind of refocus as you're on a little bit of a hill, nothing too drastic, maybe 15 feet up from the next plateau. And you look down and you see the lake, usually frozen. No longer.
Interesting. She would think that's a bad thing, right? Or is that not a? It's
Seeing as how your entire civilization is underneath it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's lovely. We're gonna go find Polly.
So you see Bryn kind of like walk. Where am I? Wait. Fuck. Polly?
Do I know where
just-
we are?
I mean, Bryn only really recognizes because this is kind of where she grew up. So you've only been here twice before. You're just like, where the fuck are we? Like, already in a pissed off mood, like, taken to another level of, like, I don't even know where the fuck we're at.
As she gets close, I take another swig of my flask and hand it to her.
I'll just take up my own and cheers you instead. I know you've talked about your worries with Trentamir, whatever you want to call him, a lot. And I know you think it's falling on deaf ears. It's not. I think what's happening is Nori's had different experiences with him, I think. I think the pieces that you dealt with was very different than this one. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have been ignored. But I think that's why it was happening.
Every person I know that's been touched by this has been ruined. In one way or the other. And I've lost people because of it. I have seen people almost die because of it. One piece almost killed Nori at my house.
I don't argue that it's dangerous. I don't. I know it was. And I'm glad she doesn't have it on her anymore. It was definitely a danger.
If it's gone for good, then so am I.
Hmm?
Do you know where we are, by the way?
We're actually close to Lingby, and she'll ish point over to the lake.
Isn't that supposed to be frozen?
Yes, yes, it is supposed to be frozen.
Oh, um,
Yeah,
well, I would say I would call someone and find out what the deal is, but I am tapped out. But, yeah,
it's okay. We'll figure it out soon enough, I'm sure.
I'm just gonna sit out here for a little while if you don't mind and keep watch while everybody, because I know Rachaw's really tired and I know you must be too.
Yeah, I just want you to know that your words were not going unheard because your experience is valid, and it's just we've had different ones, even though we agree that it's dangerous. And when I woke up, I saw Emmerich shaking his hand. It's a little worrisome. Right? Did I see that? Yeah, I saw that. Um, he's doesn't seem like he's wearing it though, so it looked like he just had it.
Well,
So
then I
he might
guess
have
it's our
made
job to
some.
make sure he doesn't lose it.
Yeah, well, that might be what he wants, though, for us to lose it.
Well, we'll see then.
But it'll be out of our hands, at least.
Yes, it will, and as far away as we can get it, I'm sure.
Are you sure you want to stay out here?
Yeah, I don't really think I'll be welcome back for a little while.
I don't think that's true.
No,
Plus, they're probably all passed out at this point.
probably. But you should be too. So go get some rest, and I'll be in a bit.
Right, she'll pat him on the back and head back in.
All right, Kaporin, as you're taking your watch, and Polly and Bryn go off, and everyone else passes out from some level of exhaustion, literally. Um, you're sitting there, and the dome lasts for maybe about another 5 minutes before it falters and gives way. Um, you feel a coldness come over the loot.
Luke?
Luckily, you can go ahead and take off that last charge of the loot. It did not break, though.
Luke summoned this dome?
There was a talk between Trentamir and Luke to give you guys protection.
Oh god.
Because that was not in Trentamir's wheelhouse of abilities.
I see. I have to have a conversation with Luke about that later.
Just get some more drugs, you'll be fine.
Your patron made a deal with a different patron. Like a patron
God.
inception.
Please protect these nerds. They can't do it themselves.
Luke's all like, I know, I beat them up myself.
The two symbiotes are working in symbiote. But since it was only one charge left, it wasn't able to hold the full spell, so it was only an hour long of your dome. But
It's a ritual, isn't it?
yeah, but I'm assuming that Luke had to cast it because I wasn't conscious for it.
Mhm.
So
yeah. But a few moments, not too long after the dome fades, Bryn comes back.
is he alright, Bryn?
Yeah, I think he just needs to let out some steam.
Alright. I'll work on making another dome. I guess while we were out, Luke had blessed us with this one for now.
Was it
Just give me
out for were we out for the whole 8 hours then?
only an hour, it seemed. He didn't have much power,
Oh, okay.
but if go ahead and lay down, and the dome will be back up shortly.
Bryn's gonna wait for Kaporin to actually put it up, and then she will do that.
So, Kaporin, you go through your ritual. And at the very tail end of it, Bryn, you noticed 3 wolves currently pushing through some of the brush, being eerily quiet through the bushes and the closest thicket of trees.
And I'm gonna stand up and just walk outside the boundary of the dome that's gonna be created, and just be there. Not stare at them because I don't really want to do that, but just show them that I know they're there.
Okay.
Unless, is there something that she would know to do in this situation that I don't know?
Not really.
Great.
They don't look like the transformed wolves of Valkyries, if that's what you're asking.
Oh, great. That's what I was hoping they were. All right, that's lovely.
So as you move outside the dome, because once the dome's created and you're not in it, you don't get to be in it anymore. Remember, you got to be within the radius of it being created to be able to pass through it.
All right, well.
It's all right. I'm pretty sure you pointed this out to Kaporin as he's...
Sure.
We're talking like the 8-minute mark, not the 9-minute, 50-second mark.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So Kaporin kind of just like hangs, because he's basically playing a song the entire time for his ritual. So he's just like, doo, 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 doo. And then he's just like, doo.
How far is Polly?
Polly was in the opposite direction. So if you're picturing your guys' circle, and then going eastward is where you saw the lake. And then a little bit past that is where Polly was. These guys are coming in from the west. You stand up and take a position, getting ready to call out to everyone in case these things do attack. And the first wolf making eye contact with you, realizing that its jig is up, it lunges out of the thicket, making 3 large bounds, closing the gap between you guys, jumping up, and as it does so, transforms into a Valkyr.
Thank you, fucking Lord. Okay. I was like, are you really fucking kidding me, Val? I'm at 8 fucking hell. Are you kidding me?
It's uncommon for Valkyr to be part of the barbarian class that allows for the Ulfidnar to transform. So you usually don't get to see what their transformation looks like. They're a lot skinnier, thinner, and have dark coats, whereas the female Valkyrie Ulfidnar turn into much more of a gray and white Arctic type of wolf. The Valkyr are... You remember, slightly, the Valkyr are used for more warm climates. So if they ever need to do any scouting in like actual forest situation that isn't in the snow, they use the Valkyr because they blend in better. But you see that first wolf transform, followed shortly by the other 2 wolves, before you see a very large silver wolf behind, coming out, trotting, and then kind of just sits down behind the rest of the group. Not quite Fenrir large, but larger than most Ulfidnar that you know. The Valkyr, just as he's only a few feet away from you now, he sort of raises his hand. Hello, Brynhilde. Glad you've returned.
I know who this one is.
It's been so long since you've been back home. It's more easy for them to identify Valkyrie who have left
Great.
than it is for you to know every Valkyr and Valkyrie that resides.
I figured I had to ask. Hello, yes, it's good to be back, finally.
I'm Harold of the 1st Expeditionary Force. Your timing is interesting. Do you come because of what has happened, or has what happened because you have come?
I do not know what happened. I know we saw some large black, what was it, rock thing
As you
along the
say,
side of the hill.
as you
But...
say that, he kind of like puts his hands up and gestures to the green area around him.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I. Would she think? Would this be possibly because of what's his face, or no? Not Trentmere. The what's his dad? Not dad.
Barnabas,
No, the other not dad.
Zelik.
Yeah, that one. With him taking over and doing his little spell thing. It's too far for that, right?
You have no idea.
All right. Well,
You are not of the arcane or
yeah. You know,
the persuasion.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
trying.
it's fine. It's good questions. It's just yeah, this is your wheelhouse and about 15 blocks down from it.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. 15, I feel like, is being generous.
Well, they're New York City blocks, okay?
Okay. Now I don't know when or how this happened. It was a surprise to me to see it.
The silver wolf behind speaks. This is very weird to hear from something that's not Fenrir and something that is an Ulfadnar. Like, they usually can't speak in this form. They have to transform or do some sort of telepathy like you've dealt with Nori. So to actually hear one speak straight out is another level that you're not sure is just like a very advanced or is something else. She must speak to the guidess. There, she will find correct judgment. You see Harold kind of not turn around to face the silver one, but kind of like looks over his shoulder, and then the two Valkyr that are standing behind him don't turn around either, and they kind of like just look at each other side eye, and they kind of like shrug, like he makes the decisions. Harold goes, "See, you all are wiped out, to say the least. So we will set up a circumference around and allow you all to rest while we send word to the guidess that you have arrived."
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Is there anyone that you would like to speak on your behalf?
Ryan just pipes up the bird. Becca has no idea
The
what to
bird?
say right now. Would Bryn have any?
He's talking about basically you're going on trial. And if there's anyone
Fun.
in the civilization that you want there to help represent you.
Richard, lawyer at hand.
Richard like goes to his toolkit and goes, briefcase.
Yep. Pulls out one of the Burt Reynolds mustache.
Yep.
He's like, I got this.
Owen just hands him some forged documents that he's been carrying around for a while. He's like, here.
Family, friends.
I guess she would say probably her parents at this point, since she doesn't know if she doubts Jeanette is there or if Loki's there.
Okay. So you say your parents. The two Valkyr in the back kind of give each other another side-eye look.
I feel like I need to insight what that side eye
Go
meant
ahead.
right there.
Halder kind of looks at you and goes, not sure how to. Oh, I wasn't expecting this. There has
They're
been
gone, aren't
many
they?
battles recently, and Johann is missing.
Okay.
But we can get your mother for you, that's not a problem. Anyone else, you are allowed to.
I think who would actually be in this town. I mean, she'd probably just go with either her friend or her sister at this point, since Jeanette's probably not here.
Okay.
Older sister.
So either Sigrun or Adrifa.
You say that's a Halder?
Yeah.
In that order,
know.
or? No matter, I think
I
don't know who they are.
Idrifa is the better choice.
Yeah, I should probably go with her anyway. That one first.
Sigrun is a little hard for her to hold trial anymore. Alright, word will be sent, and I'll let you all rest. With that, the three Valkyr turn around, giving nods to you and to Kaporin, who's Kaporin's still kind of just like holding that one note, like, do I continue this or do I stop? Polly's coming back just to hearing, like, what the fuck is that noise?
The rest of us wake up.
The three Valkyr turn around and transform back into the more lie wolves. And then the large silver one is just still standing there, just dead eye staring at you, Bryn. And even though wolves don't have a lot of facial expressions, you get the sense that this one is like, fuck you, and then turns around and like it just gives you that face as he turns around and slowly trots off.
Nori has made the face in wolf form. That is how she knows it.
So Polly, if you were coming back, you'd be coming back right as nope. Okay. So Kaporin, after Bryn deals with those and comes back to you, you can finish your spell. Dome goes
Danger,
up.
danger. Was like, glad they're watching us, but I don't trust them. Are we in trouble?
I might be. I don't know if you all would be. Hopefully not, though.
Nori's getting out that book of places I can't go and getting real close to writing in Lingvi.
I just need to just stop. I just need to stop.
I think she can put like the whole northern continent down on that list. For the
I'm
most
just gonna
part,
go
anyway.
back to the mountains. I was fine there.
Was being the operative word.
Damn it.
All right.
Mountains and-
So Kaporin, you finish the dome. The dome is up Bryn, you can go ahead and start the laydown for your long rest. Polly, is there anything specific that you want to be doing while you're out there?
Just keeping watch for about 3 hours,
Okay.
especially towards that lake, just in case.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
Twenty.
Yeah, keeping an eye out. You're noticing, small game, even all the way up to deer, are out and about, seemingly enjoying this warmer climate that has all of a sudden sprung up. But beyond that, it's pretty uneventful. This place being. Because, like, when you guys are going through the ice sheet, there's always that constant howl, the constant wind-blown ice, and now you're in a decently comfortable, good, 70-degree weather. No icy chill, none of that that whine and that howl that comes out, and animals are out to play, and it's a weird calm after the storm, and so it's relaxing.
While I'm on watch, I will just pop out my pipe and have a good smoke, and then at the end of 3 hours, wander back to the group.
Okay. So, to speed things up, you all can click long rests. Between the dome, and then when the dome finishes, the extra protection that you guys have, you all eventually get your long rests, removing 1 level of exhaustion for all those that need to do it, and any stat changes that you had are reversed.
Thank God.
Even for those that suffered multiple exhaustions. I'll take care of Amric.
Warren feels so much better.
But it's still the same day, so no loot recharges yet.
Got it.
So, with that, the end of the rest, you guys all come to probably the burb being taking the straight 8 hours and then taking the last watch as he usually likes to do. Probably.
What,
Go ahead.
can I take part of that watch to reattune to my items too?
Yes. And then as you're like attuning and keeping a watch, you're just staring into the trees, not too far away. And as you are staring into the trees, you see this at first slightly hidden, eventually just sitting on the edge of the forest, this very large silver wolf that's just staring at your guys' group. But
Are we all seeing this, or just for Cha?
this is just for Cha. Once you guys all start to stir from your long rest, it moves back into the forest.
What a creeper.
Shaw doesn't know it's a person. He's just like staring at this wolf, like waves probably a little bit because it seems like it's not actively threatening us.
Spirit animal.
After it disappears for a bit, shortly thereafter, the 3 smaller dark wolves return, accompanied by a slightly larger silver and gray wolf. And then they all change, 3 being the Valkyr, and then 1 being Johanna. You see a Valkyrie woman, long blonde hair in the same braided style as Bryn's. A lot of the styling of armor, clothes, hair, everything is. Whereas you've met Bryn's real mom, and she looks a lot like her, you can see where Bryn got her style from and how she dresses and everything. This is much more akin to Johanna here. And she walks forward with the Valkyr to a point, and then as Bryn kind of like separates herself out from the group, that's when she like takes a few more steps and like finishes the last 10-15 feet of the gap with a little bit of a run before kind of just barreling into a hug chest with you.
Yeah, she's definitely gonna meet her halfway almost and hug her back.
The hug's emotional and tight. And you're about to let go, and she kind of holds you for a little bit longer, and you can tell she's kind of just like sucking back the tears and everything just a little bit, and just like before composing herself, like, okay. Pushes you out at arm's length with both hands on your shoulder, and she goes, so you've are in a bit of a pickle.
Yeah, apparently I am.
But we're here to help. This isn't your fault, so shouldn't be any reason that we can't get you out of this without a problem.
When did this happen?
About a day ago.
A day ago?
Yeah. It's not as bad as you think. But a lot of questions still need to be answered, and we haven't been able to get all of those answers just yet. So they're kind of looking at pretty much any reasoning behind what has happened.
Yeah. I understand it.
So you guys go ahead and get all your things ready, and we'll head on down. Hi everyone, I'm Johanna.
I
Have
bring
we
the
met
mom.
before?
Other
Yeah.
mom.
No.
She'll like quickly go, okay, that's Polly and Cha. Be careful what you say around him, he'll repeat it. Kaporin, tall one's Emmerich, and the small girl is Nori.
I love Jermaine.
That's such a weird thing for someone who's not a Valkyrie to say. Thank you. I do work
I'm a
on
loving
it.
person.
I do
Sorry.
work on it, so I appreciate it still. And then she just kind of like leans over to her child. Just curious, never seen a Kenko before. You've been told that this is a repeater. She just goes, flabbergasted.
Quite.
Your repeater doesn't work very well.
He chooses when to use it, and
Oh,
he comes up with
I
the
thought he
interesting
just-
things.
Okay, I thought he just like repeated it right. Okay, that makes more sense.
It's really weird when he starts using your own voice, though.
I like my
Hi
voice, so-
everybody, I'm Johanna.
yeah, that sounds wonderful to me.
It's just a little strange because it's coming out of someone else.
Well, just don't say the wrong things in your voice, and
You would think we would learn that. Not
Can the bird sleep on the roof?
she just turns to Nori because it wasn't in Bryn's voice.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, that wasn't Bryn's voice?
Brin-
I think Nori
yeah,
said
that
it
one's
too,
Bryn's.
so. Well, then just turns to
I-
Bryn and just. Right.
He likes to sleep in high places. He wanted to ask. He needed the phrase. It's easier for him to ask than for me.
Okay, well, he's going to have a hard time with where we're going. Alright, everyone,
Sticks his wooden helmet on.
let's go. And then, with the Valkyr in leading the way, along with Johanna, who's just like arm in arm with you, Bryn. just walking forward, just getting little bites of information, not being too much of a mom just yet, but getting a little bit. As you guys walk, and you don't go to the lake. You're going in a different direction. And Bryn, you're realizing that where you're going used to be like an escape tunnel in case something were to happen to the main entrance. You guys are basically going in through the back, and without it being frozen over, it looks a lot different. It's much harder to find, and you can see where they dug up fresh dirt to get into this. You can see the wolf claw marks along the outside edges of this, and down you go, down stone steps, until you get to the point where you should be hitting ice, and you're like, well, how is this going to work? And then you see there's this faint green-blue glow up against the walls and the ceiling of just this energy that's holding back all the water. You realize it's the same glow as the stairs, because the stairs were carved out of the ice as well. So it's almost like this see-through veil that is currently holding the water back, allowing this tunnel to persist through the water. And as you guys step down, it's very much akin to like stepping on a waterbed. It's very disorienting, and kind of you got to ride the wave as you go down. But eventually you get down, and it turns back into frozen ice. Looks like whatever has happened didn't happen all the way down. And you traverse the last 25, 30 feet or so of ice stairs before getting to the backdoor entrance of your city. And the Valkyr showing correct paperwork for the guards that are there and allowing all of you through. You can see the two guards are kind of like counting everybody, making sure that it matches with what they were told. And you guys are let back in. Those who've never been here before, some have. You guys are in the best and biggest of igloos in the world. There is carving of about a little over a quarter of a mile in a very dome-esque interior. Directly out from the ice, it seems that this entire creation of a town was built. The ice is also carved out from the different walls to be buildings, different abodes, homes, stores. You see plenty of Valkyrie and Valkyr men and women walking through and traversing this, most of them not wearing what you would consider warm clothing, as they've grown up in this, very much Amric-esque. And a bunch of the children are already curiously running up, looking at the bird, looking at the dwarf. They don't see too many dwarves here as well. And also looking at little half-elven girl. The taller people are kind of getting forgotten. A lot of the people here are tall, so it's very much like a, whatever. It's like, ooh, short people. And go check out all the short people. It's very much a 5-foot person going to Norway and hanging around as all like the 6'5" average people are just like, oh, you're under 5'5"? That's weird. So you're definitely like already at headlight with a lot of these like 10-year-old kids. And they're just like, ooh, no one's touching or anything, but they're definitely like leaning in hard to get looks as you guys are being trounced through the middle of the area here.
Just imagine there's like some type of question from one kid who can't keep their mouth shut. How old is she? Just to see, like, is she still growing?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like, I'm already taller than her, but she looks old. Like, stuff like that. Eventually, Polly, you pass by a building that you're familiar with, thinking almost immediately like, "Oh, we're going to the Guidus building. This is where we're going." As you guys pass the Guidus of the Spear or Guidus of the Javelin, their hut, Polly almost instinctually starts to turn and realize no one's going that way. He's like, "Okay, thank God we're not going to that bitch." Like, continue on, and you're led to as equally an ornate carved building, but the way that it works, there's 4 Guidesses, and the Guidus of the Javelin has the eastern wall. The Guidus of the Wolf or Guidus of the Pack has the western wall. Guidus the Shield has the southern wall, and Guidus of the Sky has the northern wall. And you guys are currently going towards the northern wall. Bryn and Johanna would be able to explain this en route, as especially Polly, after you don't turn into the javelin, and you're like, okay, well then where are we going? And it's like, oh, we're going to, and then they would point it out and let you know how it works.
Do we have time to talk or chat on our way?
Yeah. I mean, this whole dome is a little over a quarter of a mile, so you're walking for a good 15 minutes.
Can I just sidle up to Johanna and be like, so, lots of sunburn opportunities now, huh? Since the water's kind of not frozen anymore?
She giggles. Well, actually, we can't burn.
Oh, okay. Well, lucky you.
That also means we can't
also
tan, so...
I mean, Polly, you know how much time we spend outside. She just looks at herself.
Pale as a newborn snow.
Didn't even think about it. I'm just wondering, like, reflecting light and all that stuff, Nori. Anyway, also just curious, since it's been a while since I've been here, how's the big guy doing? And I point down.
She looks at you like you know way too much information. And she just dismisses the question and goes back to whispering to Bryn.
Works for me, and I will move back to the pack.
Someone tell me where we're going? Who is this Guidus person?
One of our leaders.
Yes, I'm rather confused myself.
You won't be shortly.
All right.
So, you guys keep traversing, eventually getting to this nicely ornate carved structure. Almost looks like a mini fort with battlements and the whole ordeal. As the entire part is carved out of ice, except for the doors. The doors are made out of iron-banded wood. And the Holdar moves forward and grabs the 2 handles and yanks them open. A bit of frost kind of sealing them, cracks, and so it leaves a little bit of snow and dust as these open up. And inside there are 5 individuals. 1 individual in the middle with 4 in north, south, east, and west of them. The 4 that are around are male, Valkyr, but the woman in the middle is a Valkyrie, and she is massive compared to Bryn and Johanna and Haldar, and she sits roughly around 7'7", and though, as you guys have been going through, people haven't been wearing the warmest of clothes, no furs or anything like that, but they've been armored, or all of them have weapons. Even the children have weapons. But in here, none of them have weapons. They are dressed in very plain tunics, and are very minimalist, monk-esque. As she sits there, and you guys are led in, Holdar and the 2 Valkyr kind of move off to the sides, taking positions near larger pillars that hold up the structure. Again, everything's carved out of ice. So these people are sitting with thin leather on top of magical ice. And as you guys are like, don't, because it's recessed down 3 steps into this middle chamber area that they're all sitting in. You guys kind of don't want to push forward, so you guys are kind of like scrunched up right near the door, and the doors are still left open behind, bringing in this draft. And all of a sudden, you just see 2 spectral arms, sort of like Rachaw's wings, but 3 times the length, just shoot out of this woman's back and almost go directly at you guys, but go over, and then grabs the 2 doors and slams them shut, almost kind of pinching Polly in the rear as he's the last one in the back. As the doors slam close, kind of them shaking themselves, but obviously this entire place carved out of one big piece, not shaking at all. So it gives that sound of shaking, but no feeling of it. It's a very weird sensation. You wait for the quiet of the ringing to finally die down before these spectral arms kind of reach back towards her and just gesture at the base of the steps behind her in front of you guys. And Johanna kind of gestures you all forward and helps like place each one of you guys sitting down, with the majority of you guys being on the last Kaporin went for a spin. With the majority of you guys being placed to sit on the last step, with Johanna, Bryn, oh, and your sister. I don't have her open right now. Sister.
Drifa?
Yes, Adrifa. She comes out from the side and joins you, your mom, you and your mom, to sit down on the actual floor. There's a moment where all 5 of them seem to, in unison, without talking, kind of move at once, standing up, with the 4 Valkyr moving behind the Valkyrie, the guidess. As you see the guidess of the sky turn around, and her face is interesting to look at. Where you were expecting, another Valkyrie face, but maybe just more accented, accentuated, whatever. Polly, you've dealt with the goddess of the javelin, so you know that the eyes are a little bit weird for her. So maybe you're thinking something of the same. But no. This goddess, you stare into her face and it's like looking into the galaxies. It's almost like she painted her head green screen and is literally inputting the cosmos on her face. You can see definition to the chin and to the sides of her face and portions of her hair, but it's all galaxies, stars, darkness, and then when she opens up her eyes, it's just like 2 black holes. She looks down across everyone. And seemingly echoing from everywhere at once, you hear, "Welcome. We are here to pass judgment on Brynhilde. To find if what has come to pass is because of her, or if she is here from what has come to pass. Next, we will pass judgment on the bird known as Racha. From secret information garnered and displayed throughout different portions of the continent. First case, Brynhilde. Please rise. As Johanna kind of rises with you.
Yep, shall do it.
Idrifa, Johanna, grab hold of Brynhilda's arms. And they grab like your upper back of your tricep and then down near your wrist. And then you realize, oh shit, now I remember what she's able to do.
This is gonna be fun, isn't it?
As she reaches down, touches your chest, and pulls back, you see Bryn slump. She just immediately goes, and her sister and her mom catch her and then slowly put her down. But standing in Bryn's position is an astral version of Bryn with the thin silver, almost rope connecting her body to this astral form of her. And as she's like palms your chest, and this astral form is connected to it. And then she lets go once your body's on the floor. And she walks forward, and as she does so, she seems to shrink down to your size. And she just takes in your form, standing in your astral form. And you, all of a sudden, it's like a lightning rod of memories over the last, since you've left. And it starts from the moment you left Lingvi for good to now. And the problem is, it's not just the memories, it's the emotion behind it too. It is as if whatever you were feeling at that moment, for every single moment, you actually feel it. So take, what has it been, a few years of emotion and jam it all in about 15 seconds. It is the most draining feeling in the world. Like, you've been exhausted before, but this is ridiculous. And there's a reason why it's done in your astral form and not in your actual body, because if it was your actual body, you feel like you would just quit. Like, it'd just be game over. So, as she's in your form and all these emotions and everything are rushing through, you all see as she steps into the form of Bryn, perfectly mirroring her body posture. And it's almost as if around the guidess, a little bit of a lightning storm is happening. Just different shades of color are constantly just firing off. It almost looked like Bryn's a rave at one point, but since the guidess is in the space, only a thin coating of Bryn is showable around her skin herself, so you only see like LED strips just constantly spiraling around. And then the guidess steps out, and you just see Bryn's astral form. Like, she just got, like, Bill decided to saddle up in front of her and back kick her in the stomach. Like, just, like, almost immediately doubles over, and she's just trying to catch her breath, but in astral form it's so weird you can't. So it's this weird struggle. Udrifa and Johanna then pick Bryn's body back up and shoves it into your astral self, which gives you a jolt of slight pain, but no more than any of the tattoos that you've gotten. And luckily all that draining energy is gone. Like, it stayed with your astral form and didn't transfer over to your body. The guidess waits for you to kind of recover and get functionality back. What we've learned is worrisome. For this case and the next. But she shall be spared. This is not because of her. Though other questions arise. As she kind of looks over at Kaporin.
Kaporn like just kind of like, oh god, over his hood. It's like,
Don't worry. Children should not suffer for the sins of their fathers.
Kaporn just kind of like nods and
If that
bows
was
his head over to her.
if that was the case, there would be a few of you here that would be suffering.
Nori kind of dips her head a bit.
Child looks over at Polly, like astonished a little bit.
What was that
Did she
for?
just say that?
Just Richa being Richa.
She said a few of us would be here. Oh god.
She looks back down to you, Bryn. Feel free to rejoin your fellow brothers and sisters here. Now for the second case.
He just like gestures towards everything that Bryn just did, and is like, "That's probably not a good idea."
That is not necessary for your situation.
Okay.
And she just gestures to the space in front of her that Bryn was standing in.
I stealth to it.
She just watches you.
Yeah, I'm sure she could.
Her
There's
passive
no
is fucking
voice.
stupid high.
Yeah.
I think it's a 32 or something like that.
Oh, I can
She
beat it.
is
If I get a
low.
natural 20, I can beat it.
But you kind of, everyone kind of loses you for a second except for her, and then you stand in front of her. She reaches down into the bottom of her tunic has, it's not considered a pocket, it's just an opening. But on the inside, she pulls out this small vial of some sort of blue liquid and hands it to you. Please imbibe it.
At least buy me dinner first, and then he'll down it.
You lose all of your exhaustions. And any other negative status conditions you may have, I don't think you have any other besides that.
Does a demon inside me count?
No.
No.
So you basically are unimpeded in any way. You've had your long rest, and this also would have healed you too. But after you were just like, "Ooh, that's some good stuff," she asks for the vial back as you've started to sleight of hand it away.
A little bit.
Giving
Oh, okay. And then just hands it back.
giving her the vial back, she puts it back into the slot pant slot, and then goes, "Your original case was for your access to knowledge and blatantly showcasing it across the continent. After what I have witnessed through Bryn, I understand a bit more of exactly your location of this knowledge as well as your necessity to use it. But I have also been granted with knowledge of other things that you have inadvertently done. So, your case changes to a trial. And she kind of steps up close next to you and gets to your side and kind of puts her hand on your back. And it's such... everything around here is cold. But as she puts her hand on your back, oh, it's so warm. It's like, ooh, yes, please. Like, you just want to snuggle it, like... But she reaches down and pushes you forward. And you guys...
He'll actually kind of step a little bit hastily away from her hand. Just be like, careful.
I'm fine. You can trust me.
I can't talk about it.
I already know.
And he'll just nod and then go with her.
She pushes you into the middle of this lowered chamber and waves away the Valkyr, and they go off into their four corners. Be ready, Bird. You have a fight ahead of you. As she's got one hand on your back, and then she slams the other hand into your chest. And you guys hear the echo of, you almost think is Rachaw's ribcage breaking, as with monk speed, like you've seen Rachaw move fucking quick, but this is ridiculously quick as she just like almost kneels down, and with the full force of turning and everything, and with her other hand pushing Rachaw even closer, it's like a and it just echoes through the whole place, shaking a little bit of snow and frost from everything. And as that happens, she rips her hands apart from both sides of him, and you see Rachaw's spectral wings come out. They immediately come out. It does not cost your thing, so don't worry. But across from him, you see another Rachaw get yanked out. This one seemingly, instead of the black feathers and the white spectral arms that you're used to of Rachaw, this is a crimson bird, a bird of fire. And it too has spectral wings, but these spectral wings seem to be embers, ever glowing. You're going to fight your demon. So go ahead and roll initiative.
Oh shit. He just says out loud to everybody.
Rachaw versus spicy chicken.
This is where I gotta have your character sheet and its character sheet open. Okay.
You should call it spicy chicken on its character sheet.
We call it Kung Pao Chicken. Because it's also a monk too, so. Alrighty then. That open. Where is it? Where is it?
How do you cheer for two Rachaws going at it?
Okay. Whoops. That's not how you spell that. Where did I put this mofo?
And Racha wins the fight.
The demon taps out without taking a shot. He's just like, I've watched this bird for months. He's insane.
Okay, I found it. All right. So, what was that? That was that. What is Rachad's initiative bonus? Okay. So, Rachad, as you go, oh shit, this Richa is going to slide in, quickly darting to get next to you. It's going to. Okay, that is a 19 to hit.
Hits.
Another 19 to hit.
Also hits.
A 24 to hit.
Yep.
Sorry, I haven't been a monk for very long. And a 27 to hit. I was trying to see if Flurry of Blows was 1 or 2 attacks.
Yeah, it's 2. And it's 2 in lieu of the 1 of your bonus action. So it's
Yeah.
regular attack, 2 attacks,
Yeah,
or regular attack and offhand.
he gets to have 2 attacks for his attack action. So hence the
Yeah.
4.
I figured. But yeah, all of those hit.
All right, so 7, 6, 8, 6. You guys just see this crimson bird dart forward up next to Richard's. Richard's like, oh shit. And then just. Fast bird get hit by faster bird. But he's going to stay there and end his turn.
That was rude. And so does it seem like I just need to wail on this dude, or does it seem like I can do other things?
You could probably do other things.
And am I just in a middle of a circle, or is
Yeah,
it like
it's a circle. Basically, it's a lower down circle. The circle itself is only about 55 feet in diameter. So let me. Oop, there we go. Gotta have the right thing. All right.
cool? And so then there's no chance of me like hiding for trying to get sneak attack then.
No.
So he's gonna and then try and wrap this dude up in his astral arms and grapple him for his action.
Okay. Alrighty then. So it's your athletics versus.
It's a natural 1. Don't even worry about it.
Okay.
And then I guess probably try and do it with his bonus action then, if that's a possibility.
Yeah. Your bonus to your acrobatics is just too good. His 9 turns to a 22.
Right. And then so he'll see that, kind of like understand what's happening now after all of that, and just sort of ready up and not move quite yet.
Okay. All right, bringing it to its turn. It's gonna punch 2 more times. That is only an 11. But that is a 24 for 6 damage. And then after it misses with the first punch, hits with the second, you see it kind of like take a spin, sit there, and slightly move side to side, anticipating an attack. Your turn. It's all you, Richa.
Yeah, I'm just looking through all what I have at my disposal.
The one thing to beat the bird is the bird.
Can we pop in a healing word or something while we're waiting?
You get the sense that that's probably not a good idea.
Neither is meddling into somebody else's business and not asking about it, but
Polly, this gives you very heavy vibes of that one time that roll happened.
I know. I'm just, I'm still not happy about that.
I'm just thinking of meta-wise, the whole Avatar, like the death fight, where you have to fight the thing, or you have to fight
That's exactly
another thing
what I'm
as
talking
well.
about, Polly.
Yeah.
All right, so he's going to pop out a one of his smoke grenades and just chuck it to the ground at his feet.
Okay.
Pop out make a fog cloud around him and the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of do a little bit of a acrobatic leap over the top of him as he's doing so, and shuffle to the side so he kind of loses track of me, and then try and jab him twice.
Okay. Go for it. Do you have disadvantage on this because he's taking the dodge action? Those both hit. And so does that. So does that.
Does he see me enough that I can still sneak attack?
When I roll for his perception. Oh, you have good bonus to your perception. Yes, he does. Didn't know Richa had a plus 10.
That's why I have a 20 passive.
Alright, so 14 points of damage. Not too shabs.
And he'll sort of like back up into the obscurity of the cloud a little bit, just to try and make him lose track of me.
Gotcha. All right. Da-da-da. Where is? There it is. Okay. Losing track of you, but knowing which side, obviously, you were on when you hit it, he's going to immediately go the opposite direction. To get out of the smoke. And then you're gonna, those that are outside can see him point into the fog cloud, roughly the same amount of distance that he had just left, and is going to cast Fireball. So that's a dex save, which you pass, so you only take half damage.
I take 0 damage because I'm a rogue.
Ah, yes, so I don't even need to roll for damage. But that does get rid of the fog cloud.
Can I have done a backflip out of the air from it, and in the air pull out Acacia and fire a shot
Yeah.
from the sky?
Anime ninja rogue.
I'm just imagining
Fortunately,
this
that
fight
does not
being
hit.
so anime.
The jump, the fireball, the fog cloud dispersion, Chop up in the air, shoots the arrow just impacts between the feet of Kung Pao Chicken.
And then go sprinting up to him and jab him twice.
Okay. Both will hit. Alright, 16 points of damage.
Place your bets. Place your bets.
Ooh. Ah, that's more like
Fuck off, Caparin.
it.
Hey, I got a 12 one that you win, so keep it up, boy.
Okay, so ending your turn up next to it, he's gonna just unleash on you.
Who are you betting against?
Well, now he's betting against Racha.
Kapori has that he's gonna win.
First one's a 24. Second one's a 26. Next one's a 14. Next one's a 15. So only the first two. hit.
Yep, 14 and 15 miss.
So that's 9 and 8, so 17 points of damage.
I will have that first one to 5.
Okay. So 13 points of damage. He's gonna end his turn up next to you.
Sounds good. I will. What else do I have in my inventory?
Only you still have the oh yeah bomb.
So is this are we in like a sand pit, or is it?
No, it's ice.
Okay, it's ice.
It's the magical ice, yeah.
Cool. I will bonus action disengage from him.
Okay.
Back up, and while I back up, drop a bunch of ball bearings around his feet.
All right.
I don't even know how do I just like use half of them or something, or like
Yeah.
how many do I use, or the whole thing?
Basically, 100 ball bearings covers a 5-foot square.
All right, I'll make a 10-foot or yeah, 10-foot square and drop 400. Then
Okay.
does that make
Yeah.
that correct? All right. Then I assume that's my action as well, right?
Yeah, to pull it out and use it.
All right, cool. I will. I guess a bonus action disengaged. So yeah, I'll try and pretty much put as much space between us, but I know he could just move up to me.
Yeah. All right. Ending your turn. He's gonna step out and back. Mm,
Needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
he's you.
My specialty. Yep, my specialty.
Yeah, that's a 21.
Totally fine. Yep.
Okay. Oh, okay, can't do that. Do 3 fire bolts at you. The first one's only a 10. The second one's an 18. And the third one is a 15. So only the first one hits. That is 18 points of fire damage. That's going to end his turn there.
Ow. And then yeah, he'll close the gap, firing another shot with Acacia.
Okay. You should have control over your rickshaw. So obviously firing before you're in melee.
Correct. Yeah.
All right, go ahead and roll. It's a miss.
And then he'll try and like trip him up and knock him prone to get on top of him.
Okay, so trip attack. So it would be strength saving throw, which you're fantastic at.
Against my what?
No, it's basically you're foregoing an attack to just straight trying to trip. So it's just him making a strength saving throw against you. You trying to pin him is going to be in athletics versus athletics and acrobatics, but just tripping him is just a strength save for him. So he fails that, so he's prone.
All right, and then I'll.
Now you roll athletics if you want to.
Oh, I was just gonna punch him.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Take that advantage for a sneak attack potential, but yeah, then that'll be my last key point to do that though.
Okay. It does hit. Six plus 22. So 28 damage. All right. Ending your turn there.
Yes.
Okay. So, with that, you see the Kung Pao chicken sort of legs up, spin, come to a standing position, and is just going to unleash 4 more attacks. That's only a 15. That's a natural 20. A 22. And a 12. So the natural 20 is 13 points. And the other one is 9 points.
All right. Typically, I know I don't say it enough, but I do take my uncanny dodge just to save time. I don't say it out loud,
Yeah,
but I
guess,
have been.
I guess you do
having
your higher damage one.
Yeah, exactly. And I've just been doing that for like the longest time.
I
so
guess
you're
as
aware.
much, yeah.
But yeah, he's gonna try and get it. Do it again and get him tripped up.
Okay. Strength save. Now remember, this is in lieu of one of your attacks.
Correct.
So he fails his strength save, so he's prone again.
Nah, never mind. I was considering something, but it's not going to do anything to him. He'll just sock the crap out of him again.
Okay. That hits. So as Richa trips him up, and then as the Kung Pao chicken lands on its back to the ground, Richa just gives one big heaving swing with his spectral arm, and like doubles it down with his little fist as well, and does just this thunderous boom, and you see this crimson bird start to go dark and black in the feathers as it's no longer moving. And you're like, woo!
He just sort of like looks a little around and just kind of holding his abdomen and stuff of like, ow. And after he does the cheer and looks down at the thing, and does it look like it's still sentient, or is it like just burned to ashes and disappeared?
No, it's still the visage of the crimson bird, but the feathers are starting to go stone, like turn to stone, and darken, and doesn't seem to be moving anymore.
I'm sorry. And he just sort of like looks down at it and like starts hobbling away a little bit.
So Rickshaw starts to move towards you guys and holding his sides a little bit, like a ow.
He'll start scooping up his ball bearings. just walks over to his ball bearings and starts collecting them.
Waste not, what not. As he goes over to his ball bearings, all of a sudden you see with the quickness the crimson bird jump to life and dive after Rickshaw, and the goddess of the sky, kind of moves her hands quickly and opens them out, and they seem to extend over Rickshaw as this galaxy void opens up, and the bird jumps into it and disappears, not coming out the other side. And then she closes it back up. Racha, you feel this massive burning on your chest in the same location that the mark had first originated. And you look down and you can see, in a reverse fashion of it, when it first showed up, it seems to be undoing itself, but it's re-burning as it does so.
So it's retracting, but the retraction is hurt,
Yes.
is pain. Gotcha.
But after a couple moments
Just-
of intense burning, feathery flesh, smells like chicken, it stops and it's gone.
Yeah, he sort of like crumples over, probably takes a knee as he was already sort of in that position to collect up the bearings, and like checks back down and like peeks into the feathers to see if it's still even there or if
And it's gone.
but like he's hiding it from other people.
You guys just see Racha Tim Tebow it a little bit for a while on one knee, just praising whatever new god he's got.
Nori kind of stands up and like holds her hand out and it's like, "Can I heal him?"
The guy just kind of just puts her hand over towards you as a just wait.
Nori will sit back down.
Letting Racha get back over his faculties and gather up the rest of the bearings.
He kind of like it's like ooh, and he goes running over to like the very corner of the circle. Pun, but picks up the little one that just sort of got away from the rest of them, and then climbs up the side of the little arena he's in.
As you start to come back towards everyone, the guy just steps forward. I'm glad you've come out the victor. Your case has been settled.
It was a close one.
As all worthwhile things in life worth fighting for are. And she kind of nods towards you, Nori, as you can do it now if you want.
Yeah, Nori will come up and heal poor Rashaw.
Me and my 4 hit points. Oh, I'm sorry. It was 5 hit points, but
Oh, whoa.
Ah, that was good.
I was contemplating trying what I was going to do if I had actually successfully grappled him was blink to the ceiling and DDT him from the sky.
22, my computer's just, my extension's not working at the moment.
No worries.
I'll heal you for more, just give me a sec.
Alright.
What the fuck was that?
That was your brand. Or at least a manifestation of it.
Am I in trouble?
No. We initially thought that you would come across the information of our ways a bit nefariously. But now, seeing through Bryn, we realize other works were at play.
Just sort of nods as like, it was an accident.
Consider it a happy
Story of
one.
our life.
You can have it back.
It was not our gift to take back.
He just sort of nods. I'm sorry.
It's not your fault.
He just sort of like gives a little. It kind of is hand gesture.
Did you know that you were doing something you shouldn't?
Yeah, kinda.
We'll mark it up to ignorance is bliss and let it be.
Indubitably.
Quite. That brings us to our newly minted third case.
So
Hello.
on kind of figuring this is his cue to walk forward, kind of like, hi,
Kapoor and Ithel. You stand trial now for the inadvertent release of your father. Who would you like to represent you? She kind of gestures to everyone sitting behind you.
um, Point kind of turns around and says, Nori and Bryn.
Very well. She gestures to either side of Kaporan.
Yeah, Nori will.
Just go for it. Rachad just is like a little hurt, and he's like, rude. And he just sort of walks off and starts nursing his wounds.
Rude. Limp. Limp. Limp.
I'm just trying to save spells. I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess I go stand by Kaparin.
Yep.
She gestures to Kaparan's arms.
Oh no.
Grab.
All right.
I'm assuming we're doing what my family did to me.
Yep.
All right,
Point towards Bryn.
Yep.
Does it hurt?
Before she can respond, you all of a sudden feel this open palm strike to your chest. Nori, make a strength saving throw. Because Valkyrie women can hold on to this no problem. But little Nori trying to hold back.
Yeah, Nori was like, I'll go up for emotional support, but I don't know if you want me trying to grab on.
6'6" Kaporan getting punted in the chest.
Probably should have picked Amric for that one.
Bryn, go ahead and make a strength save as well.
15's not terrible with my
it's not,
plus 0.
No, it's not bad.
You know, I totally forgot about Amric for a second there.
Don't worry, Amric's over with
But
her
I
jaw
do-
going, don't worry, buddy, I understand. No one picks me for anything either.
I mean, he would choose the figure that he sees as his sister and as his mother, as the group mother, so.
So,
It's just weird because I'm dating her, and it's just, that's a weird,
incest.
it's weird.
Yeah, I wish you wouldn't have said that
So
one. But
the guidess reaches down, because she's still taller than you, Kaporan, and just open palm strikes your chest. Nori, you hold on, like you see her about to do this, and so you like put your foot up against the bottom step and like lean into it as much as possible. But even then, it kind of like saloon door swings you back a little bit, and luckily Bryn's there to like really hold on to Kaporan. So Nori kind of like skitters back a little, but Bryn's got you, and then puts you down on the step as the astral Kaporan stands there. Interesting thing about astral Kaporan is that it's Kaporan, but he's got fairy wings.
Ooh,
Uh,
started to bury it heart.
and you see the guidess start to move forward, shrinking down to your size, and then inhabiting your space. And you too are greeted with a very hyperspeed flash forward of all 33 years of your life.
Well, -5 because we aged.
No, it's 33 plus 5. So he really went
He was like
38.
20 something, and then he jumped forward 5 years, so he
Okay.
became.
Well, his
33.
entire life, regardless of the years, every moment of your life is fast forwarded and replayed over this being a little bit longer, over like a 45-second time period. You're sort of remembering things you've never remembered before. Times when, from a baby all the way to the last moment you actually saw your father, which was around a little over a year old. Plus everything your real father, and everything that you've dealt with since going to that, with the group, without the group, before even Nori, with Nori, and the whole shebang and all the emotions that are attached and drawn in with it. Though the first few decades are decently, they have their peaks and valleys, but nowhere near as much of a peak and valley as you've dealt with since being with this group. So it almost looks like, if you've ever seen a graph that's going over like a span of years, and then it starts to like extend as more years get added, and like the percentages that it has on the side are like 10 and 20%, and then all of a sudden it gets to like this new year and it jumps to like 75%, so it's just like this little tiny line, and then all of a sudden, fucking shit, it feels like that. You all of a sudden get a roundhouse kicked in the face with emotion for the last year or so of your life, before the guide steps back out of Kaporin's astral self. Kaporin, you feel the same sort of drag that Bryn did after she had this, but probably 2 to 3 times worse. It's like running a marathon and not being able to catch your breath afterwards. It's just exhausting to all degrees. But with the motion of the guidess, your body is dragged back into your space, and you re-inhabit your body, feeling slightly invigorated once again, but mentally just like, holy shit. And as the guidess steps back, it seems ignorance is the key of your group. Now, though it can be bliss, know that there's only so much ignorance that you can get past before it becomes insurmountable. And though the connections you have made with one another and others out there are strong, eventually they will falter when mounted up against this lack of knowledge. Kaporin, you did not know, but the longer you stayed in Solbrun, the stronger your father was able to grow, before he was able to reach out and talk to those that worshipped him, and eventually coordinate their attack to release him.
I never knew I was in power.
When a creature such as him is around his blood, he can siphon their energy. Hence why he laid with so many, to have these fonts of energy available wherever he goes. Hence why he was relegated to the most northern stronghold of Ixian defenses, farthest that he had ever gone. It was not their knowledge that one of his would find him, whether knowing or not knowing.
I learned a little too late that he was in town.
So you have been absolved of your trial. She just gestures back to the rest of your group. It is all the cases that we have for today. You all have been admonished and cleansed of all wrongdoings. Feel free to enjoy Lingvi. No one will bar you from any entrance. You have my word. Johanna and Adrift kind of bow to the guidess, and those watching sort of take the cue as the guidess sort of slightly bows to all of you and then turns back around, goes to the middle of the ice ring, and the Valkyr come from their corners and section around her once again. Johanna and
Can I
Adrift.
hang back for a second?
Yeah. Johanna and Adolf just kind of start to gesture you all out of the place.
Excuse me.
Mhm.
You were, I mean, by the way, super judgy. I don't appreciate it, but you were talking about ignorance, and unfortunately, no one will give us any information. And I have some questions, and I will wait till everybody's gone to ask, because it's not everybody's cup of tea. But I do have some questions.
Ignorance is not a negative word. It's just the most adept word for the situation. But feel free to ask your questions.
All right, so what's the deal with the big guy downstairs? Because shit's melting, and that's not supposed to happen. And I had a conversation with him about, well, a couple of weeks ago, and he was real hungry. And that is not what happened the last time I spoke with him.
When you feed a starving creature, eventually, well, better spent. A starving creature eventually tends to forget it's starving, as other factors come into play. And once you feed the starving creature, it realizes it's starving once again. So it finally getting fed turned it back to its primal side.
Okay, but she's still got it under control, right?
It's the only reason why this portion of the lake is still frozen.
Okay, but what about the rest of the ice sheet? Wasn't that the whole thing that was going on? Is that she was using that for the whole ice sheet? Does that mean the whole ice sheet's going away?
Have you ever heard of the hole in the magical blanket that flux our world?
No. Again, no one will tell us anything.
We
But then
haven't told
blames
you
us for
about
not
that.
knowing.
Nor he's asking after you're gone.
Oh, okay. Then never mind.
Which I would have at least tried to stealth to stay, or
She
if he
wouldn't
was
have-
allowed to.
She wouldn't have
actively
started
stay.
talking until you were gone. Because Polly said
All
that
right,
I'll
fine.
wait till everyone's gone.
Can I try for that natural 20?
You can try. You're not the only one who got a natural 20.
Yeah, I figured, but it's all good. I find that hilarious.
She misses
Let's
you
go.
for a moment, and it's enough for her to be like, wait a minute, and then she like actively kind of like extends her awareness out and sees you kind of like up against the like top portion of the door, like, and then just oh man.
Yeah, it's like he just sort of like gets down and like fist bumps and is like score and like walks away.
I got it for a second.
Is she mildly impressed?
You would have to be there, an insight check.
Yeah, he wouldn't even insight check. He'd just feel accomplished.
He's impressed in himself. Okay, so the guide us. The world is blanketed in a pattern, a weave above the world in magic. Those that are arcane users of some degree pull on a thread of this blanket to activate their powers. Some have other powers or other fonts of magic that they can pull from that don't need to pull from the web. But sometimes when magic is left unchecked, when magic is allowed to erupt to near cataclysmic levels, it pulls large portions of this blanket and creates hot zones for magic, pulling large swaths of it into a concentrated mass to do said spells or rituals, and it leads to interesting effects of this magic happening in these areas. But when one such an effect happens, one such grasping of different fibers, it leaves holes in other portions of the blanket where no magic is allowed. There is no thread to grab onto. And that is what has happened over Amsvartnir. Luckily, with Trentemir being in a relatively large state as he is in, he is able to still create the ice sheet for the majority around this hole, this tear. But he can only do it so far directly inside the tear itself.
Okay, so that explains a lot because we like the first time I came up here, we found these geysers that with pillars and stuff like that, but they happened a lot farther in. These were closer to the border, and it was kind of falling apart a little bit. It was kind of weird. So as far as this fabric that goes over the whole world and stuff, can you repair the hole?
There are some out there who can. They are called Dreamweavers. Their society is tasked with guiding those through their dreams, as well as smoothing the ripples of this blanket. It can happen over time, but without these dedicated individuals smoothing out the blanket as much as they can, it would take centuries to repair a tear.
So I don't know. I mean, is that what's going to happen here, or do you happen to have Dreamweavers with you, or are they just like relegated to a certain part of the world, or
They, through what they do, they're allowed to connect with anyone across the entirety of this plane. So they can interact with any portion of the plane at any time. But they are a very focused group. They will take on a tear or a bunching or a ripple and work on that specific location until it is repaired, and then move on to another. We have our ways of trying to fix things, but it's nowhere near as adept as they are, for that is one of their main facets of their civilization for the last 2,000 years. We are much newer to the game, so we're not as good at it, but we have created enough hubbub in their plane to move us up on the list of assistants once they have fixed their problem.
that sounds helpful? Another question. I don't know if you can answer that, but do you know what the deal is with those crystals that Bryn was talking about earlier? The ones that crashed into the ice sheet, like a few days south from here?
That is part of the large event that I was talking about that created this rip.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's. I mean, it's happened before in other places.
Yes, I saw through Bryn a little bit, as well as the information she's gathered. We are not. I am not a deity. I am not all knowing. I am just one who's studied enough. All I can tell you is that it took a lot of energy to get that to happen. So if it was to happen again somewhere, it could be tracked. But we are currently dealing with, as you have said, the geyser situation and the creature that you encountered. We were the ones that restrained him from coming through completely. We lost a lot of good
There's
people.
another one, right?
No, there's only one.
Oh, because the parent said he saw another.
He's got multiple portals that he can poke his head through,
Oh.
but he cannot
Okay,
come out
okay.
completely.
Hey, so I've got. I know this sounds really stupid, but I've got access to a god.
Illinade, yes.
If you have the right questions, I can definitely commune and you can ask if that would help any at all.
Illinade is a good friend of the Valkyries. We were there with him when he was reconstituted. I appreciate your offering, but we relegate ourselves to things that we can control and deal with. Though it is nice having information and knowing things well outside of yourself, sometimes being cursed with too much knowledge leads to inner turmoil and inoperation.
I understand. Okay. Well, thank you for the information that you've given me. I appreciate that. Yeah. Uh yeah, thanks. And I'll back out.
Not a problem. And tell the bird listening on the other side of the door he's a good fighter.
I will do that.
Thank you.
As you're going up to the door, you just see this little beak kind of shove underneath the door in the gap and just goes, "Thank you." So,
So what next, gang?
As the doors open back up, can I go my turn?
she's not moving.
Cha goes and like
Polly had this entire conversation with her back.
as like Polly goes to come to the door, Cha like shakes his hand and makes it seem like he's doing a secret handshake with him, but he's just really messing with him, like very confusedly. It's like a secret society handshake, but he's just doing a bunch of different things.
Wiggity, 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 wiggity.
And yeah, he just winks and walks in or whatever. I mean, Polly doesn't necessarily have to leave, but
Yeah. She
I
sits.
don't want to be there any longer than I have to.
She stays in her seated position.
In her own voice, he'll go, "Preparing Ithu. Dad,
Yes.
he was able to reach out to those that worship him.
Correct.
Who?
Many different creatures from quite a few different portions of this plane.
An organization?
Not quite. More of a cult.
Any name?
I don't believe they follow an actual name of any sort.
Are in danger?
Not any more, not any less than any of his other children. Only in danger if he needs more power quickly.
He needs more power quickly.
Picture each child as a immediate recharge. Also gives him the ability to do magic in a location like this that is currently void of magic. Though it would cost Coparin greatly, if he survived at all.
And how do we stop that?
I'm not entirely sure. I don't have all the answers. Warding might help. Getting him connected with a strong deity might also. Or doing that which his father has done to him, he do with his children.
That was a very confusing sentence. What did you say? Trying to like comprehend it real quick, and it's 12:30 at night.
Think of it like if Voldemort had a child, and Voldemort's child did what Voldemort did with his soul.
If I make my own Horcruxes,
To a degree. Your own fonts of power.
That means you'd have to have sex with other people, Kaporn.
Women.
yeah, let's be straight.
I was like,
Let's be-
Kaporin's about down
You've
with
done-
Saying he's already gotten 3.
Kaporin's already down with half of the people out there, but it's the other half that he would need to have kids.
So we're just gonna mark that option off.
Is there help to be offered?
For Kaporin?
He shakes his head no. He's like, "What can I do for you?"
If you find any Valkyr or Valkyrie survivors out there that may have been lost, send them home.
He just sort of nods at that.
Alive or dead.
Should we look anywhere in particular?
Scattered across the ice sheets, we've been battling these creatures.
These creatures.
Like the ones you dealt with the geysers.
Ooh, fun. He'll reach in and he'll very carefully hold the pull out and hold the rolling dice of danger, and knowing he's standing on ice, just made him very concerned. But he's like super dangerous.
You see one of the spectral arms kind of like reach out from behind her and like go into your hand and the thing, but not pick anything up. It can be.
Gave me wings.
Yes, I know.
The Valkyr have better hands.
This does not belong here.
Belong where?
It's already where it belongs.
Just gonna look down at his hands like, fuck.
Trying so desperately to get rid of it, and everyone's just like, no, it's fine with you, keep it.
Like, roll it again.
Yeah. Puncture this veil above this place a little bit more for just because.
An item like this chooses who it's with to disconnect that. You're asking for a lot more trouble than it's worth.
Not for eating, it's for rolling.
Correct.
Can I eat it?
You can certainly try.
I'm just like, if I'm not gonna use it, I should just like try and keep it safe in some way. I guess the bag of holding's as good as any, but if it gets punctured, we're fucked.
So I'm not sure how your Kaleka's gonna like that when it comes out.
It does fire off like a little bit of a cannon, so then it rolls, and then I'm fucked.
Get poof, ting, 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 ting. Oh shit.
But he'll sort of put it away, and then, is there anything more? And he'll sort of like gesture towards the wings, even though they're probably like on their last minute at best.
There's always more to learn.
By myself.
Unfortunately, as you well know, even learning of it initially took an extra bit of help.
Yeah. No. I can't leave. And then like gestures back towards the door where everybody else left.
Well, there's no getting rid of us here. So when you do have time, you can come back to learn more.
No, I'll hold you to that.
All right.
Making the same voice or the same sound of her punching people's souls out of their bodies. And he'll just like make the gesture with his hand like at the air and see if his spectral hands do the same thing or not.
Not quite. But at
He,
least
like,
you got the
looks
sound
down
effects down.
He like looks down, he's like, all right. This is he like looks back and he like clicks in his head. He's like, Yoramir.
And what about him?
Specialized and like flails the feathers around on the spectral wings.
Yoramir is the creator of the style.
Any particular god?
That's a personal choice.
Ooh. Who do you recommend?
Well, make sure I got the right one for her. I serve Galictus.
Based on the imagery you've given me, that is a horrifying name.
Not Galactus.
Exactly.
Different world, different different universe.
But he's like, I never really thought about it.
You should, seeing as how you have a piece of him.
He looks back, like looks like gestures his head back towards his bag. He's like, "Fuck." It's like every time it's all dying back. He finally understands a little bit better now, though. It's like, all right, I'll figure it out. And then he just sort of wanders off and is like,
I'm left with more questions
you.
than I started with.
well, he got things clarified and understands a little bit more now. And he's like, all right, I'll figure it out from here. And he's just like, as he's kind of huffing off, he's like, thank you.
Bye. I love you.
Oh, can I talk about it?
It's no longer on you.
Should it, should I be worried?
Always.
Wonderful companion for the journey. And then just walks away.
All right.
Goodbye, I love you. Because she said it to him.
Yep. So, with that, Richaw then rejoins the group. This entire time, you just see Bryn, her mom, and her sister just all fawning over Bryn and probably eventually finding out about Nori, and then the little sister going over to Nori and being like, oh my god, why do you like her? Like, she's so annoying. She's about 10 years younger than, well, actually, closer to like 14 years younger now.
I didn't age
Oh,
that
you
much.
didn't age. What, you get 1 year for you?
I think it was only like 1 year, yeah.
Okay, so about 11 years.
So kind of like a similar RX Nori age gap.
To a degree. But she's still, 6'2", so.
Yeah, Nori's just like looking up at her and laughing. She's like, I think she's pretty damn cool.
I guess.
Didn't used to think that. The hell happened?
I grew up. I'm not gonna be 10 forever, sis.
Preparing, where are you trying to go?
Just everybody instinctually reaches out to Kaporin to grab him back.
Kaporin gets 5 hands. Even Johanna's gonna come in on it and be like,
Or Chaz is even there, but nobody notices but Nori.
Nori just kind of looks at Richa and gives a nod, like, you were really badass in that fight. Good job.
Orin has no
Well.
no answer.
That was interesting.
Totally should have gotten a harness for Kapoor.
Too late. We're never going back.
Maybe these times where like Bryn's starting to take out the leash. Like, all right, we got to hook him back up.
I can fix that up. He's got enough rope to do it.
It's just on
Rachel
Bryn's
just
belt.
basically has. It's not even that. Rachel just like hops on like a backpack and is holding onto the rope while he's just. And Kapoor would never know. Well, he might know now. He might know more often now. But
So, Bryn, it's your hometown. Show us around. Give
Yeah?
us the full tour.
I feel like Becca doesn't know that much. Bryn would, yeah, sure, show him. I feel like at this point, Polly would know more than what Becca knows.
At least the recent
At least of
stuff.
what, of yeah, and like what everything is or where
I
it
just
is.
know where not to go.
Well, the rest of us have never been here, so.
I mean, I know where a really cool three-headed dog is, but that's about it.
You immediately get Nori's attention with dog.
Nori looks very intrigued.
Let's
But yeah, I
not
guess
go
we'll.
there.
I guess we'll just go walk around and show him. Wait, how big is Lingby?
It's a little over a quarter mile in diameter, and it's shaped like a dome. So with Johanna and Adrif helping you, you guys get kind of walked through, and again the gawking happens mainly from the children, and then like the odd stares from certain adults. But you got like a nice little entourage of 4 to 5 kids that are just now following along. But it's not like any towns that you guys have been through or any cities. There is no. It's almost entirely residential, and everyone that lives here and works here, there is no financial gain to be had. The gain is cohesion and everyone working together. It's very much more druidic in nature, where everyone does something for the betterment of everyone. So very much Richaw feels kind of at home here. Very much flock mentality. Actually, the only ones that this would be sort of weird to is Nori, Kapoor, and Polly, as you guys have all grown up roughly in some sort of city setting. Obviously, Nori, you went out and druid for a while, but your initial growing up was in a city.
So it's a little weird, but like I think it's cool.
Yeah, very much like I'm a hippie now, and like, oh yeah, totally bohemian style. But Richaw, Brandon, Amric, they all basically grew up in this sort of setting where no one's doing something for personal gain; it's for everybody. So there are tanners, hunters, gatherers. There's an apothecary. Like everyone's got their own niche to what they do, whatever they're better at. But it's all for trade and for like for most people here, it's like, oh, I need some stuff. Let me go over and ask for it, and they'll just get it. Or at most they'll be like, yeah, go ahead, take whatever spices you need. Take this. I got a few more of these in the back. Do you happen to have any, extra milk, extra this? And so there's just, it's almost like family trading.
It's like a co-op.
Yeah. Commune-esque. Where
Do they
go ahead.
commune with beer here?
They have an interesting thing called a lager.
I would love to try it. Is it cold?
It is ice cold. as it is basically created in hollowed out vats that go underneath certain abodes. Basically fermented underneath people's houses. Polly, Bryn, you would know this, and Polly, you have some experience with this, but it is basically ale mixed with angel's tears. So take that how you'd like.
Can we get Angel's Tears on the side?
Unfortunately, no. Angel's tears are very
Damn it.
relegated to just a few people, and they only have a very limited amount for creation of lager.
You can't Jaeger bomb these things.
You wouldn't want to, because you would get through just the bombing portion and be fucking out. But it's a strong drink. Unfortunately, unfortunately, for the Valkyrie, the Angel's Tears doesn't really have an effect. The minimal amount that's in the lager, it's enough to give them like 2 to 3 drinks and they're buzzed. Whereas other people who aren't celestial akin, it's gonna fuck you up real quick. So it's a specific Valkyrie thing that they're able to handle before getting absolutely destroyed. But as far as that goes here, like I said, it's mainly residential areas besides the 4 points that are the Guide-S buildings. It's very, it's cozy in a sense, though everything is made out of ice and carved out, and some of you guys are getting really cold. It's still, everything's warm, family feeling wise, and though some people have given you sort of the off look of like, who the fuck are you people, word gets around decently quickly, and some people are even coming up to you guys as you stop a little bit too long to look at someone doing some work and being like, hey, you need anything? Like, willing to hand it, because you are with Johanna, Bryn, and Adrif, and you've all been cleared from the Guide-S of the Sky, so they know, well, if she signs off on it, you guys are good. So if you need anything, they've got you, or up to the point that they can spare, because obviously they know that you guys aren't part of their society, most of you. So you won't have access to everything, but they can help supplement some stuff if needed.
I need a drink.
That's easy enough to do.
Cha, being the oddity he is, will play with the children that are probably already bigger than him, and has his ghost lantern out and changing its colors in the druidic words and playing with the mage hand and stuff.
Can I have given Racha a few more words for different colors?
Sure.
I only ever got I think I got like 6 in all honesty from Tiva.
Yeah, whatever other colors you wanted, I can give you.
She gives you the rainbow, up to 24 colors, and the shades in between.
Wonderful.
Atone 724.
And then, of course, in his character, will be trying to influence them with bad words.
Oh yeah, the kids are all
That's
for it, especially in like Draconic too. Anything that's in a different language, they're just immediately like trying to replicate.
I have prepared Racha since the beginning of the.
It has all come to this, to make an entire
All of them
society
are-
of children in trouble for cursing in different languages. Hey mom, hey mom.
Growling and saying, fuck the fucking queen.
That's probably a horrible one to say in this particular area.
Oh yeah.
Boy tries to teach you Guidus in Draconic. Here, input this into that sentence.
And actually, you cannot say Guide-S in any other language. The only other language you could say it in is Celestial.
Oh, that's that's interesting and weird at the same time.
It does not translate.
Foreign can say guidance and celestial, but that's I don't know if Richard would be.
So basically, like when you try to do it in Draconic, it comes across as woman who is guide. So it
That
doesn't.
sounds like some.
Well, I mean, that's how a lot of translations end up coming across. It's like if a word is created in a language and you try to, make it into another language, you just kind of deconstruct the word to what it actually means, and it's usually like a sentence. Like coroner, I believe, in a lot of different languages, basically means person who deals with dead bodies. Like, it ends up becoming a large sentence.
The more you know.
Well, since we're probably going to be here, does anybody have anybody you want me to call?
Ghostbusters.
I'm fine, Polly. Thank you. I'm actually. I think I need to go speak to someone.
Are you okay?
Uh, I just have the weight of a town on my shoulders at the moment.
I mean,
I'll be back.
I understand, but if you need anybody to talk to, we're always here.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry for the decision I made.
I mean, it was your decision.
I mean, basically, Kaporan, you just got rebirthed, like, not too long ago.
Got some of that good shit.
Hey, Kaparin, real quick, are you good at drawing?
Was this a dex? Is that a dex check or a performance check, Val?
Performance. If you're just drawing
fairly
simple
decent.
stuff, it's performance. If you're trying to do, like, a painting or something crazy, then it's dex.
I'm fairly decent. Why do you ask, Polly?
Can you do me a favor and draw me a picture of Belladonna?
Oh, sure. Well, Capone pulls out Belladonna. I mean, this is pretty close, but
Yeah, didn't you, like, nat 20 Belladonna?
I did.
Yeah.
I on her finishing touches, I nat 20'd her.
Yeah.
So
basically, it looks like a little fairy.
yeah.
Okay,
This would
and
be
are
this-
there like specific details on it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Capone recreated Belladonna to the best of his ability.
It is remarkably similar to her.
I was just curious because maybe we could scry on her tomorrow and see how she's doing.
I
If
might
she'll
have a
let
better
us, I mean.
chance at that. Actually knew her.
Yeah, I mean, just something like that.
I've actually reached out to her recently. She's alive, at least, and I know that. Unfortunately, she's unable to speak with me. Only through emotions that we can communicate. But I've known her for long enough that I understand majority what she's thinking.
At least she's alive. That's a step in the right direction.
Yes, it brought a lot of joy to my heart knowing that she's still out there. But from what I understand, if I ever want to see her again, physically, it's a little bit more of a challenge. But thank you for the offer.
If you like, it'd take some time, but I can teach you a little bit of Sylvan. I'm not a great teacher, but I don't know, a few terms to say hello.
Filthy creatures. In Sylvan.
I mean, it is my first language.
That would be very appreciated. I know talking heart to heart with her is warming. I would love to hear her again, or at least speak with her again. But, excuse me, I'll be around.
Where are you gonna go? We kind of don't know anything about this city.
Which I will follow him.
I'm gonna go to where the wall meets the floor.
Torn actually will at some point go back to the Guidance of the Sky. Because it sounds like she's put together, or she knows some stuff about my past that I don't quite remember.
Okay.
But of course, Val, up to you if you want to.
Well,
RP that, or
Guides
message
are
to the-
not an open door.
I figured.
So during that time when you guys still had that open door policy would have been the best time to go back to her. I mean, you guys, when you first arrived, the doors were sealed to a degree by ice. So you get the sense that probably these doors don't open too often. And since they've already opened for the day, I mean, you're not sure of what her schedule is like, but the place was big enough to probably have rooms in the back, and there really be no need for them to come out. So, making your way back to that location and trying the doors, the doors are too hard to open.
Okay. If anything, Kapoor just at the moment he needs some time. He has the death of an entire, almost of half a town on him. He'll wander the streets for now.
Roger that. Eventually, Bryn and anyone who else who would like to follow would be taken back to your home. You get to see Bryn's room. Johanna just says,
Are there pictures of baby Bryn?
not in her room, but in the living room, yes. Of course, it's all like hand drawing pictures. There's no photographs here, but they're decently well done. And the mom, when you and Bryn go to the bedroom, Johanna, out of instinct, just says, "Leave the door open." You feel like she just went through all that stuff, probably with Adrif, so it's still just in her reaction.
Nori just like quietly snickers.
Bryn just shakes her head and sighs.
Instantly transporting you back a good 13 years, Bryn. There's a reason why I left this place. But Polly, your drinks are gotten for you. It's not too many neighbors away from Bryn's home that has one of the fermenting vats underneath the houses.
Can I just hang out with them for a bit, or are they just like, here, go?
No, they're chilling in the living room right now.
Sweet.
Obviously, Adrif
Okay.
kind of tags along with the group, but eventually Johanna would be like, let her have her time. She'll be here when she's done. Then you can bug her. Fine. And then just literally sits at the base
But I
of the
wasn't
stairs.
cool.
Sits at the base of the stairs. Well, it's more of your girlfriend that she's interested in. She sits at the base of the stairs at the chair and kind of like scoots it back to look up the stairs, just waiting.
I want to talk to her. Just go down real fast and go, hey,
Hi.
what's up?
Nothing. What's up with you?
Just being here in this incredibly cool city. Did
Huh.
you need something from me?
I see what you did there. Cool. Cause ice. Nice. I like it. You're funny.
Thank you.
So, like, why are you attracted to my sister?
They're at the bottom of the stairs,
Yeah.
or you said? Can I try to be stealthy?
Coming down the
No, just like listening in from the top if I can without
roll a
being
stealth
seen.
check.
Yay.
If you roll under a 15, you got to roll a dex check as well. A dex save, sorry. You have disadvantage,
Because
right?
because I'm assuming I'm still in my armor.
Yeah. So roll a dex save. Bryn tries to creep up to the corner of the top of the stairs. Everything's carved out of ice, and you really haven't. I mean, it's
Haven't been here in a while.
yeah, and just and all of a sudden you just hear ching as Bryn ends up slipping and sliding on her armor. Like you guys both quickly turn and look up the stairs and just see Bryn on her back sliding past the opening of the top of the stairs. And then you hear it finally stop. And then you hear the armor kind of and she
You okay?
and Bryn just kind of walks past the opening of the top of the stairs like nothing happened, not even giving you guys the eye. Like I said, why do you like her?
Well, when I first met her, I was actually afraid of her.
Oh, so you're into that type of thing?
No, more of a tall, strong person, very scary. But as I got to know her, I was happy that she was my friend, and I admire her bravery, how can be bold in the face of danger, and just this incredible person.
She kind of like leans back in the chair closer and just like, and kind of like puts her hand on your knee. And it's like, oh, really? Okay. So you like the stronger type, huh?
Just a little bit.
Understandable. Understandable.
She's also very sweet.
Well, you know what they say about sweets. Too much sweet leads to cavities.
I'd say she's worth it.
Well, you know, sometimes sugar, sometimes spice. And she kind of like gestures to herself at that moment and sits back up in her chair.
Why do you ask?
Nothing. Just interesting. You're one of the few people that we've had that aren't one of us. And you're with my sister of all people, so just curious. Should probably go with her though before she gets jealous.
Nori kind of stands up and shakes her head and will just kind of laughing to herself as she goes back upstairs to make sure Bryn's not hurt.
Get about halfway up the stairs and like your spidey senses are tingling, and you kind of quickly look over your shoulder and you see her just like checking you out as you're going up the stairs. And then she sees you see her and she's not looking away. And then you continue up and she just goes back and grabs one of the loggers and like leans back in the chair and starts sipping it.
Your sister is interesting.
What did she do?
Just interesting questions.
Do I want to know?
Probably not.
I'll take that.
But your home is beautiful.
Yeah, you kind of forget that growing up here, though. Just like anywhere, though. But yeah, coming back, it's good to be back.
One interesting thing about Bryn's home is that she's one of the homes that are most up against the side of the dome. And she actually has a porthole cut out as her window. Usually just looks further into the ice, and The ice itself has its own sort of natural glow, but it's different, Brant. And this is one of the main things that you've cut off. Since half of the lake is now water, the glow from the ice is getting refracted and changed a little bit, so it's much more of a bluer tone than the white coloration that you had when it was all ice. But other than that, it's simple setup in the room. You see that whenever anything needs to be created in the room, it's just carved out of the ice. So shelves needed, carve it out of the ice. The bed frame is carved out of the ice. Dressers, the whole nine, everything is just carved. Obviously, things that need to move or change, those are created out of wood and sort of faceted in. But since the ice never melts, and Bryn, you would also let her know this, that to carve things out of ice and keep it from becoming ice again, it needs to use magical tools that are specifically for the ice carvers of the town. So it's very much apartment building-esque. Like, you gotta, put in a requisition for the landlord to be like, hey, I need the kitchen to be upgraded. I can get back to that next week, somewhere around Quattro. You're like, yeah, that works. I'll be here. So, but it's still a cool concept to deal with. That cool. There it is again. It's an interesting concept to deal with, where you're, again, it's very druidic in nature, kind of just using what's there to facilitate needs, but not destroying it necessarily to, as a druid, you see all the houses, especially those made of all wood, and you're just like, man, those must have been some nice trees, like what forest did they have to destroy? That's why you do like portions of Ixia, because they replant anything that they use. They have very specific sections.
Upon thinking of that, she thinks back to the forest that Zelik destroyed using her magic, and just kind of, it hurts.
Yeah. But nevertheless, you're able to show her your room with the door open, of course. And any of your other friends that may want to investigate, knowing Amric, he probably would be a little snoopy at first. But he would just kind of more or less like look in, be like, cool, and then leave you guys alone. And Racha, knowing Racha is probably in every single room, going through everything.
Racha actually left with and is following Caparn.
So he's in everyone else's rooms, looking through everything. But Polly, Johanna is indulging in lager with you down in the main living room with Idrif as well. Anything? Do questions
Just
asked?
hanging out.
Okay.
Nope, just hanging out.
Ladies.
How's that goddess of the kill me with the spear? She as stuffy as she was the last time I was here. I didn't mean that to rhyme. It just happened.
Are you a bard? I'm kidding.
No.
I'm kidding. I know the taller one is.
No, I just just curious.
But yes, it does. She is still acting as if she's sitting on one of her spears.
Okay, yeah, she wasn't very nice to me. Anyway, and the goddess of the shield, she just still running around as a wolf, being,
Well, that's the goddess of the pack.
I don't know, protective. That's what I meant.
It's understandable. Not everyone grows up in this and knows everything.
I guess I met all three of them then.
There's 4.
Didn't mean to.
Well, now you've met all 4.
Yeah, I guess so. That's odd.
The goddess of the shield, there's actually a new one since we lost our last one.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
The battles did rage on pretty heavily for a while.
What is it that you guys were fighting? Just curious.
Well, just like the Goddess of the Sky said, those creatures that you were dealing with at the geysers.
Oh, okay. Because where we came from, there's a big crystal sticking out of the ice sheet, and there's like it looked like, I don't know, like dragony thingies, like flying reptile things that they were
Yes.
shooting down.
Luckily, that's far enough away that the humans are dealing with that one, and we've dealt with more of the stuff that's come closer to our borders.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I had a conversation with Ilinade the other day, and he said that they were taking care of the spawning point of the other one, the one in District 3. So maybe he'll be moving on to District 2 pretty soon. Who knows?
Well, one can only hope, but if he's on the case, then we've got good hopes for things.
Yep, I put my faith in him. Literally.
Well, there's
All jokes today.
yes, far worse deities you could have chosen.
Yeah, that's a long story, but sure, yeah, I'll go with that. Hey, so what do you know about him? Besides, the obvious.
The demigodness of him.
That too. Well, I know about that, but, any juicy bits that I can, fuck with him about?
I'm not sure fucking with a deity is the best course of action.
Oh, we're real close. It's fine. It's funny more than anything else.
I'm not that close with him, so I don't want to risk it. And I will let all information garnered about Ilinade be told by Ilinade.
Fine, you're no fun.
He is also one of the few entities outside of the Valkyrie that have immediate and unfettered access to Lingvi. So I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night with Ilinade at the foot of my bed, ready to smite me.
I mean, if you know that kind of story, I don't want to hear it.
She drinks from the lager heavily. Anywho,
Yeah. Hey, so about that Bryn. She's pretty great.
yeah. Yeah, she can be.
Yeah, I mean,
When she applies herself.
she has been applying herself a lot lately, thank you very much.
What makes up for the last 30 years?
Hey, you know what? We can't all be our parents.
True.
Trust me, I know.
But at least she's got a decent head on her shoulders, unlike some other ones here.
Oh, you have no idea. We haven't even gotten into trouble yet. Don't worry. It'll happen.
Starting to possibly regret my choice of allowing you all to stay here tonight.
Oh, we're staying here tonight?
Well, we don't have an inn for you all to stay at.
I guess so. And I doubt that someplace like this has like a guest cabin?
Not a lot of
Igloo?
not a lot of guests in general.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured that the first time I was here and we had to go through the lake or some shit like that. I don't even remember because I was more focused on the fact that I died
Well,
and had to make it all the way back here.
that would definitely be a bit of a hindrance, and yeah, I understand.
Yeah, it was rough. Do you know what they did with that body?
I believe they fed it to the dog.
Oh, so Fenrir ate it?
No, the other dog, and she points down.
Is there a dog there?
The three-headed dog.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. That
You brought it up
okay,
earlier, so I
yeah.
thought, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, how well, never mind. That's out of your wheelhouse. My pay grade at least. Yeah, probably shouldn't ask about that. Yeah, so I'm gonna finish my logger and pretend like I have nothing else to say.
Amric. This logger is wonderful, Johanna. Thank you. Well, aren't you an upstanding gentleman? You're welcome.
Amric would never say that.
He's filled 3 of his 13 mugs. So, he's a happy camper. Especially by the time he gets through with all 3 of those mugs. He's a very happy camper.
Is he starting to remember what happened to him in that night?
Nope, not yet.
The drunken recall.
Nope, not yet. Nori, you're
Somebody-
starting to get flashes of the conversation that Trentamir and Amric had. It's starting to come back to you.
Yeah. So where am I at the moment?
In Bryn's room, with the door open.
So Nori kind of looks sad for a moment, and then kind of a look of realization, and then she smiles and goes, "I'm alone."
No, kind of.
Bryn's just like, well, what the fuck am I here?
No, I meant, like, in my head, I'm alone. I'm not being constantly watched by a dude. Well, I have other problems, but you know. It's nice to have my brain to myself.
Yeah, I
Horny.
figured you'd like that.
Even if it is a problem.
Yeah, but one that I don't want to think about right now. Waiting for the nosies to leave. She's gonna take off her the armor that she I don't even know what to call it anymore. Not all of her armor, just the top. Just waiting for them to leave because she doesn't want to have it on right now. Waiting for Nosy 1 and Nosy 2 to butt out.
What were you talking about? Rachel and Capernaum aren't even there.
Are they not? I thought they were
no,
still.
Kaporan had left
I
to...
took off.
Oh, they are gone. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought you said they came back. My bad.
Nope,
Never
they're,
mind that.
they're off to some random corner of the dome.
Beautiful. Well, Nori, I wanted to tell you something for a while. I've waited until we came here just because that was the plan and thought it'd be nice to do it in my home. So before I say it, I'm sorry that I've known about it for so long. But this rune here, and she's gonna show her that rune on her kidney. If I can get a picture of it, I'll put it back in the T-explored thingy. I'll find it later. Oh, this one. Okay. But this one, it was giving me a weird feeling before we noticed everything was changing. And I didn't know why. And it stopped changing after we were checking it. But when I was talking to Jeanette, I asked her because the other ones didn't give me this weird feeling that this one did. And she actually said hers started developing when her and Floki actually started their relationship. And I don't want to force you into anything. I want you to have a choice in this. But Nori, you're my person. You're my soulmate. And that's what this signifies. And she's gonna pull out a little box with the necklace in it, and to say this is for you. It's nothing too crazy, but I picked it up right after I found out as just something to remind me, and I thought it was something you would like. Kind of fitting now that you don't have another necklace on, though.
So Nori looks a little surprised, and then when you say you're my person, she smiles, goes up to you, cups your cheek, cups your face, and kisses you, and goes back and goes, "I love you." And I didn't have a tattoo to tell me, but I knew you were my person too.
She'll smile at that, and I love you too. And I think I knew it before the tattoo, but it definitely solidified it. And she'll give you the necklace.
Can you help me put it on?
Yes, she will.
During this time, Adrift comes down the stairs. Yeah, my person. She rolled a nat 20 on her stealth check.
Amazing. Great.
That is
now she knows to stay
fantastic.
away from my girlfriend.
Yeah, like Nori fully did not pick up any of the flirting until she started checking her out, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, no."
All right. This was the necklace from District.
Yeah, it was
7?
from when we had the talk with the parents.
Oh, so District 8.
Was it 8?
Yeah, is when the parent trap happened.
That's so interesting. Parent issues.
I mean, Parent Trap works. Like, it's not the movie, but the idea works. Okay.
It was a trap that involved parents and trauma.
Funnily enough, the two parents of the couple in the group. So the parents got to meet each other at the same time. Oh, and then that reminds me that Yelena's dead. Anyway. So. You guys knew about that?
What?
You guys knew about it? Yelena's dead.
Implied.
Yeah, Nori just for like finding out Yelena's dead. She didn't know her at all. It's a sad thing, but so she's sad about it, but she doesn't know this woman at all. She's had like 2 interactions and they've been positive, so she's sad, but it's just like she feels terrible about how easy it was to keep going. Yeah. That's the worst part.
Oh god, I'm getting used to this. Not caring. Alright.
Caring, but just not as much as she should.
Kind of felt the same way
Not so
about
innocent
Nori.
anymore,
Or,
Nori.
Not Nori. What's her name? Rashi.
Okay. So with that, Kaporin, is there anything specific you would do besides playing your lute?
Oh, well, after playing his heart out because basically he's depressed again.
Actually, when it does not have any charges, you need to roll at disadvantage for all your performance checks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because basically, you got to think of it as all the life has gone out of the lute, so it becomes very hard to handle. It's like going from a very well-oiled guitar to something you haven't played in 10 years.
I feel like this is just even more appropriate for how Kaporin's feeling right now.
Just
Oh, wait, I
tired
don't
and
know what
rusty. It's still a 30. You're good.
Wow,
You're just like burned through you're like reopening calluses and giving yourself blisters, but you're like, I don't care. Do you ever feel like breaking down?
For real, he's really just expressing his depression right now.
Very simple plan.
Also,
Welcome to my life.
How's the reverb in this dome? Does it just ignore them hear me from afar? They just like, there he is.
It's still technically water, so it still absorbs a lot of sound.
Damn. I would just feel like Nori and Bryn just automatically hear it and knows that Kaporn's out there.
They just immediately shake their head. Just instinct now.
We're busy.
Oh. Well, Kaporn doesn't have really much besides he's gonna reach out to Belladonna again
Okay.
at some before he heads back. So I'm gonna use ascending to contact her.
All right.
D100 to check, correct?
Oh yeah, for Belladonna.
Yeah. Four.
You start to play, but the sending spell, you cast it, and as you start to say the first few words, you realize it's not going anywhere.
Okay. Then wow, it's just adding to his day.
Putting the knife in and then turning it a little bit.
Yeah.
Any
You can't
luck?
reach out to the. What did Richard say?
Any luck?
Oh, you're here, bird. I should have known, but no. It didn't work this time. You must have heard all that, you two, earlier.
You started singing the song along with them.
And it's so weird hearing like a very emotional, cryy voice come from this bird that's not showing the same emotion.
Pouring gives like a little laugh. Yes, that song. Well, there's a lot to question now. The guilt of almost releasing my father. Not knowing what I am now, and some power source for him. What am I in the sense? The memories that came flashing back in front of the goddess of the skies. What were those to me? So much has come by in a flash of an eye. Reliving losing Belladonna. Reliving losing my magic.
Meteor
Losing my
swarm.
family. Correct.
Feeling that pain all over again.
Wait, does that mean he got all his
Rachel
memories
wouldn't
back?
know.
No, his memories are always
I
memories.
have. Yeah. It's. I mean, it's me. Kaborn didn't have anything like weird where like locked memories became unlocked kind of thing. Like Nori, did he?
No.
Okay.
What about those drunken nights?
Oh God. Regret is the only feeling he felt.
It happens so quickly, it's not like
Um,
he's watching a movie. He can only pick up on things occasionally.
I suppose just the feelings of overwhelming grief at portions of his life.
I mean, it's not exactly your fault.
I know. But knowing that I'm partial to how he escaped or why he escaped. Luke tried to warn me, I just wasn't able to hear him. Now he's quiet at the moment. Everything
Luke
just-
tried to warn you. should have been someone else.
Someone else should have warned me.
Fortunately, Amric's not here to help.
I mean, options. And he just sort of like does the scale hands, like he's weighing options with his hands. And he's like, Wingvi, District 3. See my mother. Everyone knew. Should have said something.
And that we should have kept moving.
Shakes his head, no. Bastards in charge.
Ah, I understand now. Yes, I wish someone had. Well, if they knew, then surely they didn't give me the right information. I know I was looking for him earlier, but the running theme with us is we don't have enough.
Well, they might not have known themselves.
I'm laughing, but I know that this is probably right. Yes, they probably didn't know either. Well, I guess that's the only thing we can do. He's back out, and someone has to stop him.
Your patron.
I haven't talked to her in quite a while now. And she gifted me my second chance. I thanked her, but I haven't been able to connect with her.
He sort of nods in like Gaius' voice. Will say some sort of warding or protections of sorts would probably help.
Yes. We'll have to look into getting some of those.
And he's like holds up his hand again and is like Trentamir, Nori, your patron, Paparin.
Asking Trentamir to become my patron?
Fuck that.
I was about to say, come on, it's like what? Maybe they'll be able to, a patron be able to help me. I'm assuming it's.
What Trentamir is doing.
I don't know if she'll be able to, if I was able to reconnect with her, if she'll be able to do the same. But I'll have to explore that option. We definitely need to be prepared. And if we run into him again, I have to get away as soon as possible. The longer I'm near him, the stronger he possibly could become. But if there are, go ahead.
Would Racha have ever seen Caparin change blue into Luke?
Juan hasn't done it in front of you guys yet. He's
I feel like
he's
it
had
happened.
that one.
I feel like
it-
he
there
came
was a
out
one-
of it one time
I think that was with
in
Polly.
front of me. Oh, okay, I wasn't sure who it did.
And Amric, yeah.
I think Amric was
He
on
was
Gotcha.
like-
That time.
but he hasn't. Yeah, I haven't changed blue in front of you.
Gotcha.
I'm not. Well, the question is, I still don't know Luke's full power, and if I can reach Ederman, I certainly will try.
Ederman?
I feel like I've used her name before.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
I think right after you lost Belladonna.
Because I think that's when I finally learned her name.
Yeah.
My previous patron. She's the princess of the fairies in Belladonna. She's the one that granted me the permission to save her when I was younger.
Fascinating. Ederman. Sending.
I'm not sure if that'll work. I technically only saw her in a brief shine of light before I passed out. I don't know her that well, but maybe.
If she's an
Your
actual
patron.
if she's an actual deity, you cannot contact them directly with sending.
Okay, I figured it.
If he knows that and says that. A deity. And then he just sits down and starts meditating, and he's like, Ederman.
Sits down in the middle of the street.
I've tried. See if I could contact her after I lost my connection to her.
He shakes his head no.
Someone else
Have
worships
faith.
her?
He means pray, says a little kid who's like been listening into everything going on.
It was not. Well, I was saying that I tried praying to her to thank her for giving me a second chance, but
No, stupid. He
I
means
tried.
meditate, not pray. Well, if it's a god, he means pray. You don't meditate to a god. You do if they're the type that need meditation. Whatever.
these two kids just started arguing.
Yeah. As kids do. As soon as they have a disagreement about something, they just turn in on each other.
Thank you, children. Horns looking at them is like,
They're like the
Kinda-
same height as him.
Yeah.
kind of thing to be kids.
11-year-olds and 5'10".
The boys like looking at, they're almost like the same height. We're just like, okay, we're going now. Yes, but Richard, I'll have to see what I can do.
Be like
I
Polly.
do have a lot. I don't know if I can ever live up to be like Polly, but
Cleric
He
multi-class.
like cocks his head and he like cocks his head and is like 5 foot.
I'm 4 foot. Thank you very much.
Fair enough. He was trying to be generous.
well, I know it's not big shoes to fill, but we will try. I will try to reach out to them. Let's head back to the group. I'm sure they might have found their own trouble again.
Kapoor, give me an insight check. Polly, give me a history check.
Chad just sort of nods, and then like as he walks away, he swats him on the butt and goes, "Go to horny jail."
Bonk. I give Rickshaw the word bonk. Yep, that sounds about right. The dice gods giveth and the dice gods taketh, Kaporin.
They wanted that performance, but they did not want the insight.
Nope. You cannot get insight on the performance. Polly. Being down with Johanna and Idrith for the portions that she's not spying on her sister, and with Emmerich, you guys get to talking a little bit, especially about the whole, crystal thing and a little bit of the information you got from the guys in the sky about the whole tear in the blanket. Just getting maybe a little bit of excess information just to help round out your knowledge of what's going on. And then you ask them about the battles and, sort of the colloquial what's new, what's been happening recently, and the battles being a very recent situation. And then you just start to put something together. You start to put together what you've dealt with so far, and something that happened quite a long time ago with your other group. An interaction, a very they told you a story about someone that they had in their group before you guys came around. It was very brief and it was a single story, but it was back when you were first meeting with Illinade, and they were discussing their interactions with him prior to you guys joining. And they talked about a certain white tiefling that was part of their group, and a very horrific scene that had happened immediately after Valak and Illinade joined up with the group and found them with this white tiefling. About an instance where Illinade went into his black armor situation, which you've seen him do once before, and immediately drive his hand through the tiefling's chest, killing it within the first 5 seconds of him seeing. Then you guys learned about why he did it, and the fact that tieflings, when they're stationary in a single location for a long enough amount of time, they start to create a rip between planes. Now, most tieflings don't have control over this, but those that are stronger do. And the stronger they are, the easier these rips happen. And especially talking about the large portal rips that you guys had just encountered, things are starting to make sense now. And though you didn't know it, if these are connected, then you guys have been inadvertently following Barnabas northward. If the 3 large portals that are big enough to allow that large of a creature to get through, that means Barnabas was up here for some time. You're not sure exactly what the ratio is exactly of how long in one location with him maybe focusing on it or doing something would allow such a large portal, especially multiples of these large portals, to open. But it at least gives you some sort of basis to hopefully, maybe with some extra information from other people or information that you guys gather yourselves eventually, to understand okay, if he spends enough time in one place up to this amount of hours, this might happen, or something.
So we were literally following him through all those villages with all those portals just all over the fucking place?
Not the earlier ones. Not with you, Eartha Marsh, and of the other group. But since you've left Solbrun, you've been encountering fiendish creatures and other things that have been having to deal with portals. You went across a town that was completely vanished, but had Nine Hells interaction. So you guys, as you've been going northward, you've been following along the same path that Barnabas has been taking. He's just been doing it ahead of you all. seeing as how you guys stayed in Solbrun for, I believe, 4 days before eventually leaving to go northward once everything was sort of situated enough in Solbrun for reconstruction. So, if anything, it goes to show you that if he had left immediately and gone northward and maybe stayed overnight at places, getting his long rests, a long rest for him could have an effect of anywhere between a few creatures getting out to an entire town disappearing to giant portals allowing demon creatures to come through.
And you said that they could control it.
The
stronger they
stronger ones can control because the Ripon planes for the weaker ones happens to any plane. It just whichever one is closer.
So they get to choose which plane it actually happens on. They don't get to choose if it happens or not. It just happens.
It's a natural thing since tieflings in this world are not native to the material plane. So the longer they're here, that connection starts to warp reality and make the veil between the planes thinner and thinner. So for the weaker ones, whichever realm or plane is the most concentrated in this area, so sometimes the ethereal, astral, water, earth, like whatever plane may be at that time of year, at that location, strongest next to the material plane, a regular tiefling would just start to wear that down. But the stronger ones can control which planes they start to rip into.
Okay. That'll add to the questions that I need to ask next time.
But it's a bit of a revelation for you, kind of piecemealing, getting instigated by some of the conversation that you are having with Johanna, and then piecemealing some of the information that you've gathered throughout your time adventuring, especially with the certain individuals that you have adventured with. But
Okay. Yeah, that okay.
so beyond that, is there anything else that anyone would like to do? Kaporan probably eventually trying to figure out your way back, following Racha, who probably would have a decent memory of getting back to Bryn's home. But
Is Bryn's mom like a magic person?
no, she is a shield maiden like Bryn.
Okay. Can I ask if there are any magic-y people around that can look at something for me?
Yeah, there's plenty.
Okay, then I will ask to see them tomorrow
Okay,
after we rested.
she will coordinate with that and have them there for breakfast.
Awesome.
Anybody else? Okay.
I have some questions, but I'll text you.
All right. So with that, I'd say you, Racha, Kapoor, and you guys eventually came back to Bryn's home, and you all have supper. Very protein heavy. Sorry, Nori. But luckily, since the forest has come back to itself, there is some vegetables to be had, some root vegetables. Root vegetables that have been frozen for 300 years, but still they're good. And you guys have...
I lived with goblins. I've eaten weirder.
It's an interesting, semi-solemn family experience, not quite as lively and full of cheer as Polly's family's situation was, since there is a seat at the table that stays empty. But respect is given to the.
I'm pretty sure it's all due to the fact that my sister tried to hit on my girlfriend.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, Adric didn't come down for dinner. She just stayed upstairs. No. Respect is given to Johann's seat. A plate is made for him and left there. But it's solemnly done at the beginning, and then business as usual for the rest. That's the life of a fighting civilization. It's sort of baked into the cake. But you guys have your food. As far as any questions you want to ask Johanna or Adrif, or do anything throughout the day, feel free to message me. And if it's a lot, we can mini session. If not, we can just message back and forth. Any questions you may have, but you guys are going to get another long rest, and we will come back next session with you guys waking up from breakfast. All right. Any questions?
Sounds good.
Nope, not for me.
All right, guys. Have a great night. Stay safe. Have a good weekend, and we'll be back on Monday.
Night,
Night.
everybody.
Night.
Hey, y'all.
Thank you for those to stay with us. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.